why young girl has been the topic lately. That's the thing. This Jane. We're gonna do a poll right now. Which one? We're gonna do a poll right now. Cause Shorty said which one's starting first. It was like it already started already. Don't want to ask a question of the poll. We'll do the poll. Cause only thing I like about the poll, people just be playing, or they just be like voting for multiple shit. So like, just be playing on the poll. I don't even know what to ask for it. Like, World War III, Civil War II. We living through history right now. Some historical times right now. Well, at least we got social media this time. Historical times we living in. At least we have social media. If they ask, well, what were they doing in this? This is exactly what we was doing. Some historic. At least we have social. There will be no other narrative. Social media. Oh, I'm gonna make a video about that. The media part not gonna type. I believe we have socials. Okay. This is actually so. I don't even know. Yo. Some historical times we living in right now. Some historical times. Yo, this Jane wild. This Jane wild. This Jane wild. Okay. So, bro, like, okay. Shorty said it's like a race. Which one to start first? Plot twist. Both have already started, right? That's what. Well, I'm not sure about the whole Civil War part. But you know, historical context, certain things will be said and done, and stories will be told, right? Now, couple things. Like as far as like an official start for stuff, yeah. But year-wise and like, oh well, okay, you know, this did happen. Things to like point at and look at, right? Now, for World War III, it's coming about more so in the sense now of like what's going on. Like you had the whole Christmas Day, it was Nicaragua. No, fuck am I saying Nicaragua for? Christmas Day, I done got the whole jump mixed up. Nigeria. Christmas Day, it was Nigeria. A week later, 2 a.m. in the morning is Venezuela, right? So that's why more of the talks are coming up now, because it's like an increasing of like just, you know, military activity. However, somebody was like, well, you know, some people kind of point to Ukraine as a start. Now, that's a different type of thing, right? I already talked about how my day was in my other live streams. So, Ukraine, some people look at it like now, mind you, historical context, right? You're gonna have to, let me see, World War II ended in 1945. We learned about it. Now, mind you, another thing about a world war, they didn't call it a world war. That one was actually kind of hard to say. World war. They didn't call it a world war. during the World War. It was afterwards, and his story like, okay, now you kind of just sort of name it that to refer to that time period. And so you got that. That's one thing that costs like kind of sort of know. And then, so when did they officially start calling it the World War, or even like the Cold War? Like when did they start actually calling it that? The Great War. Okay, okay. These are those types of things, right? So, and when is it officially like, okay, start off, and when does it say, okay, well, this is like a pinpoint in a time, like we're gonna try to pinpoint it there. So, like as far as World War III, some people are considering Ukraine, and some people are considering this Venezuela thing right here. Now, that's with that. Now, the Civil War part refers to us. What are we are not going to do, right? Now, the first Civil War, this is pretty, okay. The first Civil War was a North and South, and you have to like mention certain things just because it's the first Civil War, and that is, from what we know, the majority of the conversation centered around slavery, abolitionists, and uh, to abolish it, Emancipation Proclamation. This is one of the things that we key in on about Abraham Lincoln, and so with that, uh, now from historical, well, like the way we kind of like view the history of it though, is that the North is facing the South. The North is industrialism, and moving in that direction, whereas the South is more agricultural, which is a reason that they do, which is a reason that they are proponents of slavery. You know, it's because they heavily, primarily, you know, uh, their agriculture. So they need farm. Now, okay, this is just an aside, just an info dump here. Vaquero is Hispanic. Cowboy is black. Cowhand is white. They all refer to the same thing. All right. But anyway, the South is agriculture. The Southern economy depends on slavery. So from there, you're blocked. Bitch, we're talking, it's history class right now. Dumbass. It's fucking history class. We're talking about World War III. So you need to either make a comment or reference to World War One, II, or III. Dumbass. Or we're also talking about Civil War II. So you need to make a comment or reference to Civil War II. Dumbass. Don't say shit about anything else. Dumbass. I gotta talk to you like that because we have a fucking intellectual conversation. Dumbass. It's a time and place for everything. All right. So I just blocked somebody. Trolls used to live under bridges and told riddles. Let that be your last Audacity transaction. So, Civil War II, we kind of sort of have to look at, well, what would be like the two opposing sides and kind of sort of how and why, right? Now, like I said, for the first Civil War, it was it was centered around getting rid of slavery. It was centered around getting rid of slavery. And the laws and the legislation passed to have that, right? So now I'm not sure what would. So the reason that this also comes up is because I'm not sure how to, do we talk around it or just say what it is? Like, the National Guard, military were deployed in multiple cities. This city, that city. Multiple cities. Do I want to say were invaded? you know what I'm saying? But like, the National Guard was sent to a lot of different cities. Like, legitimately. And outside of the National Guard, it's cold outside. I'm just saying that to say ICE, right? ICE was sent to like multiple cities, multiple places. So those are like things to like kind of sort of note and sort of look at. Uh, so okay, if America would have another civil war, it would be more pockets of resistance that the central government does not control. Okay, you're saying in a sense of where it would stem from. One of my things that I'm trying to get to now is what would be the civil divide? What, like, you see what I'm saying? It would be states and cities refusing to fund the central government and Washington trying to exert its control over those areas. Oh, okay. So that's one of those I was thinking about, like with money, right? With money, there is something around money, but even with those, so you're saying like the government part, because I'm trying to figure out, you would need to say like, well, who could it even kind of sort of be targeted, or how could you overthrow, or coup d'etat, like those type of things. It's a something that was mentioned earlier was the fact that, so one of the things, like it's one of those things where people like, because it's something about with economics and the money. Now again, remember, we had the Great Depression in the 1930s, and these are reasons that certain fascist dictators, leaders, whatever you want to call them, they had this rise because of the economic depression, which was worldwide. This lack of money, and then the desperation from people looking for a leader. Where do these things stem up from? Now, this is one of the reasons, and I'm just gonna have to say the name. This is one of the reasons that Adolf Hitler was able to assume power, because he was in a group of, it's a sector of people, and you can talk to their pinpoints and their pains, and then you have them on your side, and then that sentiment only grows. There's a large dissatisfaction, disapproval, whatever it is, but you're able to appeal to those pain points, and so that's how he was able to gain a lot of traction. Like local versus national control. New York says the law is one thing, and Washington says it's another. Who is actually in charge in the state? Money is a contract. Okay, those are generics, but then you got to start to like pinpoint stuff. Now, because the things that like kind of people are kind of sort of popping up, and like there's this talk around it, but then it's like, it takes, how many people does it take to actually get on board and to actually stick to a goal or something like that? So it is one of those things where it's been a rhetoric. It's been floating around, but it's well, when are y'all actually gonna do it, right? And so one is like rent, right? The final boss, and how much of that is your daily paycheck, right? You're not daily, you don't get paid daily, right? You work daily, but you don't get paid daily. It's those of your paycheck, the month, whether it's bi-weekly, weekly, monthly, right? Of your paycheck. How much of it do you actually have for yourself, right? The amount of people living paycheck to paycheck, and just knowing that, oh, if this happens or that happens, right? Somebody's in control of how many hours. If somebody doesn't like you, now, like these are things that like, if you had like living your life, the only one life that you get, right? And you got to talk a certain way, you got to move a certain way. And this is if you do hourly, you know what I'm saying? And then even with the salary stuff, it's like, there's good and bad in the sense of, okay, well, I don't have to worry about this, that, but if you know that to do your job at a certain level or skill up to a certain standard, that it might require a little more time out of you, out of your day, a little more delegation of certain tasks. Those are all things to like sit there and consider, right? But I'm saying all this to say, like, there's a large sentiment around people and paying money towards this, that, and the third, and things getting really tight, right? Around money. And so you have that. And another one of the things is like, so there's a lot of people, like people say, just get a job, just get a job, just get a job. Okay, but why are you staying at your same job that you don't like? You see what I'm saying? If it's so easy to just get another job, why are you still at that same job that you hate? talking to people that you don't like, people, somebody who's not certified more to do whatever than you are, but you gotta listen to this person because they just been there longer than you. They not more skilled at anything, and they got this. The reason they throw around their weight and their power is because they have no weight and power in their own home. You see, like, but so you spend a lot of your time in your day around people that you don't like, doing something that you don't want to do, but go find a job. That's like people are so quick to say, go find a job, go find a job. Well, why are you still at the same job that you don't like? And you spend a lot of your time in your life, and you only got one life that we know of, allegedly, and you spend a majority of it, a vast majority of it, doing something that you don't like and don't want to do. If free and fair elections were to not take place, that could be a catalyst for a civil war. Like in some states refuse to send delegates and instead elected a shadow president. That's a pinpoint. I would the way and this is not a, it's not even like, you know, people like, oh, hot take, right? Or this and the third. Or one party felt like we're now a permanent minority, their states may refuse to recognize an election and set up their own president, something like that. Okay, I get the synergy you're saying. The only thing about this is not a hot take, but it is the fact that it's a common sentiment behind anybody that you say, well, why don't you vote? And they can say that they feel like their vote doesn't matter. And then the amount of things that have happened, which will allege or make you seem to think that, okay, it's fixed, it's rigged, and that it really didn't matter. Or the amount of gerrymandering that happens, which allows for it to be or go in a certain direction. And so those are things to actually think about, right? So I'm saying it in the sense of the way that the current political voting and all of that is already set up. It's set up in such a way that to make an NBA reference, the NBA draft used to be the whole thing used to be live, and they stopped that. So, and because the way they were trying to rig it, it was like, oh, we're doing this live, and so we need a way to try to rig this. So like, there's the one draft where the envelope is bent, and so the person like does the whole little spinning of the commissioner does the whole little spinning of the thing, but when he reaches inside, he grabs the bent envelope, and so it's those type of things. But now we don't have that anymore. We don't have that anymore. And it's like, well, or it's not televised, so that you can't sit here and find the evidence for that. The reason, why did we still have the Electoral College? And again, these are not hot takes. And this is not a sentiment or a rhetoric that has not been said before. But one of the lack of education that the American people have. And you can probably pinpoint, and you can probably say like, yeah, a lot of people are not smart. And I think I just saw that the average American education is around 6th grade. And so would you want these people, do you think that the majority of American society and people, would you trust American people to actually vote in the right way or correct way? That's one of the whole things. So the Electoral College was a way to buffer that. And which, again, leads back down to the gerrymandering and splitting up the districts in such a way that it's like, okay, this would prevent those type of things from happening. So you have the electoral college because most systems have like the minority. I'm not sure what those other whatchamacallits. So the Electoral College is a buffer for the unintelligent part of America, type of thing. In Canada, give different proportionate MPs to Quebec and Maritimes. Assistance had something like that. So those are things. And then there was And if not for nothing, right? Elon alleged it, and then he comes back down and doubles down and he says something similar again. And when Elon says he helped Trump get elected, that Elon and Trump this past summer had a slight little exchange and they were not on the same page. And then Elon went on Joe Rogan's podcast and then he said some more things about like how fraudulent things were happening or not happening in the at the most prestigious place it's supposed to be, like people not signing off on paperwork. He was like, people were in there and they not even signing off on paperwork. He was like, that all they gotta do is sign it. He said he put in one stipulation, so the fact that they had to sign it and put a reason. He said they wasn't even doing that. So it's like Congress worked 87 days in 2025. Let me see, they hog any other power. You might need to refresh yourself on a history class. You just might want to refresh yourself on a history class. Because a majority, you know what people are talking about right now? Texas Instruments. Do you know what Texas Instruments is? It's the calculator that you got to use. A majority of legislation is dependent upon California, Texas, and New York. If you're going to try to refute that at all, we don't need to talk anymore. You see what I'm saying? Regardless, majority of people live in certain states and they're always going to be like, that's what they call certain stuff, swing states and stuff like that. Like I just said, a majority of legislation and this and the third comes from California, Texas, and New York. Segregate and divide. The small states agree to it. Most people think the popular vote. The president, the attorney. I know this. Okay, hold on. Do you understand gerrymandering? If the majority is concentrated, then the minority won't support the system. So you throw them a bone. That's the point of being a politician. They're good liars. They don't have to do their job. They break oath. Only do part-time work and full-time pay. And this is electoral code. Now, so this is one of those things that, again, Elon was referring to, and like, it's just one of those things that people like kind of sort of talk about. Canada's agreements made during Confederation with Quebec. They were talking about like, well, why would Trump decide to spend all this money on a renovation for somewhere that you're not going to be in for too much longer? He was talking about a $200 million renovation to the White House. Now, some people have also kind of said like, I feel like it may potentially, like, we could potentially be in the last day, like the last presidency type of jump, the last time we have a president. Like I said, like it's 2025 and 2026 now, but well, I'm just saying 2025 because that's when I found out like El Salvador has a dictator. But if you Google it, he's one of the coolest dictators. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have dictators again. Like they still exist in 2026. It's gonna have a separate parliament. Cause she's like France, that was intense. I'm something must have what I'm calling because I'm not sure exactly. Is that like that just allows them to have representation, right? That just allows each of the states to have representation. I think my blanket statement around that was like one, Elon alleging to fix the stuff, all of the stuff within the like. For me, I feel like it's been elections since like 2000 or something. Like they're like when they gotta do recounts and they gotta do revoting and there's always something that happens, and then you got to like, oh, this and the third, and then like the swapping of this and the third. Like I completely understand that we have like there is a popular vote, but you don't go by the popular vote. It goes based off of the electoral college, which I completely I understand that. But that's why I said that's what it refers to gerrymandering, so that it does get switched into a certain way. Like this concentration of voters lives here. This concentration of voters lives here. They typically vote this way, and cutting and splitting certain districts up in a certain way, it's like, all right, well, once you got them to vote in a certain way, boom, you're going to get all of those votes regardless of how people voted anyway. I completely understand that. But let me try and see if I can get to the other part. So that was one thing. But I think I was sitting there, I think one of my points I was sitting there trying to say is that I made the analogy, kind of, sort of, not really though. Kind of, sort of, not really though. Because it's not that complex of a task or skill that people like will intentionally whatever. But the ones who do typically vote a certain way, and it's for a certain reason. But I was basically trying to say that basically it's not too far-fetched to say that none of the voting part matters. And I think Elon was basically trying to tell Joe that like in the next one, it for sure won't even matter. Like how the vote, it doesn't, it like, it's like this whole process of even voting, like that's what I'm saying. It could be these next few, it could be like the very last type of vote type of thing. Like it's like you get past or get through the whole voting process. Like there's no even like just forget it. Like you know what I'm trying to say? Like it's one of those type of things. The other thing kind of sort of mentioned, which was again rhetoric that was brought up, was I'm just going to say that potentially Trump was trying to agitate the American people in such a way so that he could implement the Insurrection Act. And so there's a couple things. Congress only worked 87 days in 2025. Like it's the fact that he's okay with Congress not being there or being around, because he can just like, well, a pen hate to see Trump coming, right? He about to say, I'm doing this. I ain't got to talk to nobody about this, that, and the third. They slowing me down anyway, right? So it's one of those type of vibes. And then I will say, like, let me see, like, so this is one of those statements that is, like, if you sit there and talk, like, for somebody to refute it, like, I'm not about to refute this, right? Because if you try to refute it, it's just one of those, all right, you talking just to be talking, you just that third. So for the whole, like, but if you was to try to say that it's racist or it's sexist, and it's really not. So black and brown vote Democrat, which was one of those things that Elon was mentioning about trying to have a certain group of people coming into certain states and whatnot, and to control that. But Elon gave his own reasoning as to why. He said, who are typically, like, it's those things that people like they say and they talk about, but then like in reality, who makes up a majority of the prison population and who is softer on crime? It was the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is usually softer on crime, and so like the people of the black and brown, who generally make up the prison population, jail population, are going to vote that way. Women, I'm not sure why the women vote Democrat, but again, from the Democrat Party, you have what we've seen. The first two women candidates have come up under the Democrat Party, and I'm not sure there is there's like clip audio footage of Trump when like way back in, and he was like, yeah, if I ever run, I'm running Republican. Like he been said this. Those are things to kind of sort of note. And whites vote Republican. Now I just remember that one person did say that Democrat in pocket, Republican in mind. Like, so it's one of those things where people try to like with tradition and this and the third, and people like all this conservative stuff. Like, it would be this one way, but because of the economy or this and the third, like you try to say like, oh, I'm gonna just go this other way, but you continue, but you know for sure, like, there's it's one of those type of things where, and it just so happens, but if you were to enter a different tax bracket, you would start voting a different way. And generally, it's, you know, the youth voted right. Once they realize both parties are bought and paid for, and that you can't refute that, right? It wasn't the case and will always be the case. And they vote. That was only 20 years ago. Yeah, see, the youth is like it's a trend, right? The youth is like a trend. I voted one time. I've only ever voted one time. And I'm pretty sure you could probably guess when and who I voted for. And I was young. I was 18. I'm like, I'm just going to vote. It's just the thing to do. Got a sticker and I ain't never vote again. But they're bought and paid for, who do you think doesn't matter? Because at the end of the day, they got to make certain legislation. And do you think, hey, man, they don't know who I am, but they know who Walmart is, though. And that ain't saying nothing about Walmart, but I'm just saying, KFC, it's just certain companies. All I'm just saying is that they got big bucks and money, and they got assets and things to protect. All sorts of things can shift voters. But those are that's the legitimate, that right there is like the legitimacy of like how those things should not be whatchamacallit. However, I'm just gonna say this, right? I'm gonna say something like this. You said charismatic leaders, societal events, and those are things that like shift voters and stuff, right? But like, this is why, like, it's a logical fallacy, but like hearing about it, like I don't watch the presidential debates, right? But I laughed and I thought it was funny, but it's not an actual thing to whatchamacallit, right? So when it should be about politics and it should be about how are you going to, maneuver and engage diplomacy especially with other countries, and your guidelines for like where do you foresee the country going, how are you going to engage with other countries. That's what it should be about, centered around that. And Trump said his brother do drugs, but he said it a little more whatchamacallit. You know why I laughed? I like that takes some type of whatchamacallit, because most people wouldn't have said that on TV, not live like that. I laughed, right? But that is a logical fallacy where you attack the person, and you didn't even attack the person, you attacked their family member. And that ain't got nothing to do with the politics. Maybe kind of sort of don't. But that would be something that a lot of people would be like, it puts it on their mind, puts it on their brain, and they do say, if I laugh, somebody else probably did laugh. And it's definitely a running joke. But now you know, like, oh, your family got this in it, your family got that in it. You trying to hide that, you trying to cover that up, and why? It's those types of things. 40% don't vote. That's crazy. I don't know what that one it refers to. Okay, we got a couple. Let me try to catch back up. I'm not sure about. So I'm blocking. I'm just gonna block you and your comment because it didn't make. Hopefully we'll never have some absentee ballot to people who think it's wow. Wow, I've never heard of that before. Shit. I do that too for a couple extra dollars. You think, hey, here. Everybody in big America finds money involved. Obama, yep, sure did. Sure did. For sure. Yeah. Seeing speed got me trying to go back home. Speed is in Africa, Ethiopia as of right now. Because white women vote Democratic, virtue signaling until crime affects them directly. Then there's no in my backyard luxury benefits. You fucked up voting for Obama. It's why Republicans will keep our race longer. Why you saying you like? Why you saying you like me? Like, what you call it, bro? I voted. I think actually, timing wise, I voted for the re-election. I voted for the re-election. Um, President will keep our race longer than Democrats want total control. I like that. Actually, the Democrats, in my opinion, of the Democrats lately has been like this, like, and it's not. Well, I haven't heard somebody say this, so I'm going to say this. I don't think that the Democrats wanted to win. I don't think the Democrats wanted to win. If you wanted to win, I don't think you would have chose Kamala. I don't. You wouldn't have chose Kamala. I don't. I think. Yeah, that's not even. I haven't heard somebody else say that, but I don't think the Democrats were ever trying to win the last whatever. Because but what you had before that, you had you let whatchamacallit run as your candidate. Yeah, I don't think the Democrats, like I just said, they had Hillary, and then you got Sleepy Joe, and then you got Kamala. That don't sound like you was trying to win. That just don't sound like you was trying to win. Uh, I don't look too much into the whole abortion shit. I don't. It's kind of hard to like as a man to think about that shit. Women, that's something that was one. Why women got shot by signal for scamming. I ain't heard, but I ain't heard nothing about that. You have a right to. It's not the Constitution right to kill. It's in the Constitution right to kill. What? That comment. I'm blocked. Well, you tried to compliment my jacket, but I'm blocking you because we're having a political conversation. So I don't ever want you talking to me again. You're a distraction. Governing is hard. Nobody has a perfect platform. It's even harder to actually make change once in. And that's why I understand that. That's why I was like, okay, that was one of them things as far as like you got the president and you control the presidency and the House and the Senate. Like you got to, so it was like it should be seeming like easier to get a lot of stuff just going through, so that you can have like the stuff that you're actually trying to implement and get done. We chose the government. We do. Democrats have a lack of clear platform, clear ideas. Left needs some new concrete ideas. What's with the fair government on the right? I don't understand. Like, the only thing about whatchamacallit was the fact that it's like I said, one. I mean, when corporate money gets involved, but like that's what I'm saying. Those are civil. You know, that's not well potentially, and it just depends on this and the third. But the whole outsourcing of jobs, materials, any all of this stuff. And so, so yeah, it's a matter of mm this just seems it's just more happening right now, and so we had there was a tariff increase. Thank you, Robert. That's a great that's a funny way as well for the gift. We had the tariffs in 2025, and I'm not even sure. I'm not sure when the embargo happened. I'm not sure when the embargo happened. I remember that. I remember learning in history class about embargoes. I'm not sure when those actually happened. What was the cause for them or the reason for them or anything like that. Um, War just seems. It seems a tad bit. Um, I saw that name recently too. I don't know for what though. But war just seems a tad bit, not a tad bit, but just, you know, okay. At one point in time, trade with other countries and all of this stuff, like products and all that stuff, that was more so, that was difficult. Like, that was more like, I hope that kind of sort of even kind of makes sense. Like, you gotta understand, like, boats being built and trains as a method of travel, like, that was different. So it's way more increased as it is now. So that's why, like, the the fall of of an economy is on some, if this country fall, oh, this one don't mean, like, that's not a good thing for the rest of the world type of vibe. Like this, so this is, and so it's like, okay, like, and I think that's, I don't know how to really explain that. Like, you got countries trading with each other for a variety of different reasons, for resources, whatever. And then, like, okay, now certain countries is beefing, and then they're going to war. So like now, oh, like, the simplest joint was when it's talking about the Switch. When they talk about the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, bro. When they talk about that price, um, the price of the Nintendo Switch was gonna go even higher just because it was gonna have to this and the third. They was like, hey bro, you might have to buy your Nintendo Switch from a different country to get that junk so it can come through. I don't know. It was like the pricing and this and the third, bro. So that's what I'm saying. Like, whether it's technology, whatever it is, like, the dependency on other countries for resources, whatever it is, bro, whatever it is, but primarily technology, um, and then you no longer can get that from them. And then so from there, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why, like, war is actually kind of like tricky. And then that's why I'm also saying, like, how many countries depend on each other, and it's just on some, if this country actually go down, and I'll just say us, it would not be beneficial for the American economy to just completely just fall off the map, because that would affect a lot of other ones. Um, so how do you even prepare a country for something like that? If not, why not? Whatever. Um, so I think I wanted to mention that, kind of sort of. I think that was applicable, and then another thing to kind of sort of mention. Okay, you got that. Um, oh, then now the last one was, like, this is why they talk about colonialism, conquering, taking. Now, it's people. It's funny. There's a little truth behind every joke. The whole is Trump, but with the AI and whatnot, it's over. It's 6ix9ine talking though. I took that shit. I took that shit, bro. Because I'm sitting here like, okay, I once learned. I used to. There's a store called Banana Republic, right? But that's an actual term. That's an actual term. So a Banana Republic is formed when, let's say, America wants to extract some type of resource from another, like, third world country. The thing is, that third world country is not going to have a government, that can officially do diplomacy with America. So what does America do? They go over there and they say, this person's going to do this, and this person's going to do that, and this person. They set up a straw man, like a fake government, a banana republic. They set up a banana republic, and then the president is like, okay, we're going to do work with this government, and these are the people that's representing the government, so that people can have, like, the shit could be like signed off for, and it seems like legitimate type of thing. So how does this relate? Nicolas Maduro. I heard Maduro, I thought Maduro cigars. Nicolas Maduro was the president of Venezuela. He's over here. So what's going on over there? Right? what you mean he over here? Why he ain't over there? Now, they were sitting there saying that there was a small sector of people. Okay, I've never seen that one. That's a nice little tidbit of information. Time Goes YouTube does some great episodes on it. The Marines were basically dictator guards in the 1920s and 30s for American fruit companies. With Nicolas Maduro over here, who running everything over there? Who running everything over there in Venezuela, right? So it's like we just like it's not we just took over Venezuela. And the funniest, it's not funny though. Before we took over Venezuela, they got drugs. They trying to get drugs in here. They were trying to get drugs over here. Right? They said, they taking our jobs and bringing in drugs. Well, shit, I don't want to work and I like drugs. Anyway, that was a meme. But as soon as they take it over, what does Trump say? They got oil. They got oil over there. And they don't got the proper infrastructure. These is his words. They don't got the proper infrastructure to whatchamacallit to, they don't got the proper infrastructure to real sell that oil. So we're going to go over there and set this infrastructure up. And we're going to sell that oil. America's an oil company with a military. I've never heard that one before. She was like, Panama. Panama is funny. Not really though. So other people was just sitting there like, I'm not sure that you actually want to be hooting and hollering and cheering that your president is not whatchamacallit. If you look at any other place that we've invaded or been a part of, there's some consequences, repercussions that come along with, whether you want to call it protection or whatever. How are we going to sell their oil for them? It's crazy. So yeah, before the whatchamacallit, it was drugs. Now we done took it over. It's because of oil. Oh, let's see if our gas prices go down or what happens from here. But then like that's just one. So, oh man, there was a couple. Oh, so yeah, one rhetoric was Trump was trying to make certain things happen, agitate people in such a way that he could. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Trump was trying to agitate the people in such a way that he could possibly implement the Insurrection Act. So those go along with the Civil War II type of vibes. We also have seen like either there was that one time a lot of CEOs stepped down. A lot of people have talked about like the rich people getting bunkers and just either moving away. So you got those things happening. Rich people getting bunkers, moving away, and basically it kind of seemed as if all like they were trying to do this whole cash grab, trying to get as much money as they possibly can before they just like things just hit the fan and then vanish. So there's that, and then so you got boom, you got let me see. Those are like the Civil War type of vibes. Um, and then the other one was like, so that's why I said, last time, do you really, whatchamacallit, if it's, do you really care if it does just get cheaper? Like, do you really care that that's what happened? If it did lead to cheaper gas prices, it was like, well, shit, whatever had to happen, had to happen. Now, the only other joint was the fact that, um, like I said, there was an increase in military activity. Now, I also, and I posted the video for it so you can see like the German propaganda right now. German propaganda has Trump and Putin on a lot of magazines, like either cartoon art, artistically, cartoon art wise, or just like literally. Um, yeah, but why would they ever, right? Why they say all the billionaires were in all the billionaires and millionaires were in Bartholomew, I think, or Saint Bart's. You gotta look it up. It was like they were all on their super yacht. It was like, yeah. I wonder how much Coca-Cola was over there and what was going on in all these super yachts, bro. So, um, yeah, bro, like that was like the insurrection, things happening that caused maybe an insurrection act, to implement the insurrection act, stuff that was happening over here. All the billionaires, trillionaires doing like getting as much money as they possibly can before anything had to happen. They can just be safe inside their bunkers. And then, um, so you had Christmas Day, Nigeria. Then next thing you know, 2:30 in the morning, you got Venezuela. So not sure. Is it what could, like, all right, you gonna chill out now? Or is there more to happen, more to come? Um, yeah, and it's the soft compliance of how you slowly get there. Um, if is there another country next? Is there another country next? What's happening? Now, I think I mentioned this the last time. Somebody did mention that we were going to like. It didn't seem far fetched to me, which is one of the reasons I was like, oh well, you know, there was like Trump. Now, mind you, the reason that it also kind of just it actually kind of sort of makes sense. It was Trump was supposed to have the Americas. China or Japan? No, 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 no. Yeah, China or Japan gets Asia, and then Russia gets Europe. So it will only be three. It's basically moving towards three, whatever. Trump gets the Americas. Russia gets Europe, and I'm not sure if it was a China or Japan gets Asia. So like those would just be the three. Those would be the three, right? Now the reason it didn't seem too far fetched is because you saw Trump at least attempt to get Canada. Not only did you see Trump attempt to get Canada, then we're now in Venezuela, which is South America. So it does seem like Trump. It seems like Trump is doing what he's supposed to do to get all of America, North and South. It seems as if Trump is doing what he's supposed to do to get all of North and South America. He's getting all of the Americas. I don't know what's going on in the other ones. Are they slow moving? Or is that not really a thing? Is Russia planning to take over Europe? You know? And because the whole thing that happened with Ukraine. Now, some of the things they talked about with Ukraine was the fact that what happened with Ukraine. Any involvement with it was like, this is why if you just look at some things on a different side from Russia's viewpoint and standpoint, It was the fact that somebody else in other countries had, you know, artillery in Ukraine, and Ukraine's their backyard, and it was just like, well, why do you have stuff over here near us? Why is there any type of activity? Why y'all over here? What y'all doing anywhere in any of this? And supporting any whatever they got going on, that's their business. You know, whenever somebody starts to like doing any type of things, like, well, why are you helping them? You don't have to help them. Let them fight their own wars. Let them do their own thing. And so like that was another confusing part for a lot of Americans. What are you doing over there in Ukraine? We have nothing. Whatever they got going on, that's their cross to carry. Then we ain't got shit to do with us. How you giving them money? We need money. That was a very real sentiment. How are you giving this much money to support any type of Ukraine anything, but our economy ain't whatchamacallit? Put that over here and then set it over there. And so that was the whole thing. And Ukraine is where? Right next to Russia. So it's like, bro. And so from Russia's standpoint, it was like, yo, you need to back up. You need to chill out. Ain't nothing, y'all shouldn't be doing nothing over here. And I think there was a whole thing. It was like, you don't cross this point. You don't cross this threshold. And the fact that people were, it was, okay, y'all are infringing upon this and that third. So if we act or do anything, it should be justified. It should be justified. Now, a lot of people, another thing that came up, that was like these war crimes. It was like, you know, taking another country's political leader and any of that. Like, bro, like, these are, like, those are things, bro. So, it seems as if Trump is doing what he needs to do to take over North and South America. And who's going to stop that, right? Now, my only thing as of right now, right, you kind of sort of have to go back and kind of sort of look. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because, you know, spiritual influence of the Monroe Doctrine, the Russian Empire. I get a one point, right? Like, so there's a couple other places where apparently I don't know what's happening, right? I just legitimately don't know. And I don't, it's not, and to be honest, I should be prosperous. I ain't gonna blame it. But if you ever been to Cuba, not Cuba, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, sorry, nah, I'm not, certain things in Dominican Republic used to cost like 10, 15 allegedly, 20. Now they cost 30 and up. That was in the Dominican Republic. That was about 10 years ago. Anyway, bro, okay. Trump is doing what he's supposed to do that third. Whoa. Yeah, I actually don't know what's happening in Europe. I don't know what the sentiment, the feel, or anything of those is. So, but I think there was something else I was about to mention. Trump is doing what he's supposed to do to gain control over these, North and South, Russia, China. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I was just saying, like, our involvement over there in Ukraine, and you just not knowing, like, Nigeria was just like so random and weird. But it'd be seeming random and weird to somebody like me, right? But somebody else might know a little bit more about whatever that makes it either make it justified or know like the real reason behind doing certain things. So, like, I don't know what the culture and climate is around like England or whatever, or anything in Europe. And from us, it do seem like we are involved in a lot. We are involved in a lot. So, okay. The point I was in there trying to make was, now this is like, okay. I think allegedly, not allegedly, but I don't know. The point is, I don't know, and I refuse to kind of sort of even look, because there ain't nothing I can do about it anyway, or like, or care. Like, I don't like people who just say stuff just to be having like so they can get some reposts and some engagement. I don't like that, right? Like, I don't know. Apparently there's genocides happening, right? So those type of things, nobody's doing anything about those, right? And so that's the thing. And so I'm not sure. Like, this is why I said I would kind of need like a refresher. What was it that caused other people to be like, okay, we then have to like go do something? I think, again, forgive me. I'm right now, just off the top of my head, I'm not recalling right now. But all I'm saying that right now, there are genocides happening in other places, right? However, when there was a genocide happening in the 1940s, I'm not sure what caused, coalitions to form so that you then say, hey, this is a primary target and we need to like stop this. I'm not sure what caused other countries to again, I heard this, but I'm not sure the specifics. Again, I don't Pearl Harbor is I don't know what Pearl Harbor is. But like yeah, I don't know what the fuck Pearl Harbor is. Where is that? I know the event, but I don't know where that shit is at. And does that have something to do with Japan? Like, I just haven't been in a history class in a long time to like kind of piece this shit together. But you see what I'm saying? Like, this is why, like, over time, it like right now, if you sit here and tell me, or not even tell me, right now, off the top of my brain, I'm just gonna sit here and say Germany was doing there was a genocide going on in Germany and everybody was like, we need to like stop that. But the thing was, everybody didn't say that we need to stop that. Because Germany had allies. You see what I'm saying? And so like that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what was it that made us say that we gotta go over there? And the reason I'm saying that, and I'm saying the same thing now, because I know for sure there are at least one or two genocides happening right now. But as I'm sitting here saying, if that shit ain't got nothing to do with us, why the fuck would we go over there? So what would cause a person like people to go over there and like say, hey, that shit gotta end at some point, or the shit gotta whatever, something gotta happen. What would make people then step up and say we gotta go over there? Like you involve people that now you're that's casualties that may or may not have had to happen. There's a lot of words in there, but that whether y'all need it. After the war, yeah, we still need more context, because one of the things was, and I remember, and I can pinpoint this person, Jordan Peterson. He once talked about this because he's talking about the psychology of it, and he was like, the psychology of it doesn't actually make sense, because he was like, if Germany wanted to win the war, they could have, but he doesn't do that. Because he was like, all he had to do was stop the genocide, focus on the war, and then go back to the genocide. But what he does is he just focuses on the genocide and just decides to lose the war. He says, like, his viewpoint is that they could have won the war if they really wanted to, but he didn't go that route. So that's one of the confusing parts about it. Germany declared war on the USA in solidarity with the Allies. Japan as a call for downfall of capitalist. So forgive me. Who? We were an ally with who? Because I don't remember the allies. I don't remember who we were allies with. But are you saying that because we were allies with such and such, we got dragged in it. So who were we allies with, and why were they beefing with Germany? This is just like I'm saying, like off the top of my head, I don't really remember, but I did. But I do understand. It's like, okay, yeah, we were allies with them. They were having problems, but what were they originally having problems about and for? There's a joke about somebody's Japan's. Oh, I know I'm asking for a lot right now, but I just don't. Why did they do that though? We need time to unpack this. But this is why I say like but I'm being honest, and this is like I know these historical things happen. Germany attacked France and the UK and later Russia. So because these were the things I want to take control of the Pacific Ocean and its islands. Okay. Breeding room is crazy. His breeding room is crazy. Okay. So these are the things I'm trying to. Okay. They attacked their surrounding countries. uh, let's see, yeah, you start attacking other people. Um, so yeah, my other next question was, oh, but you just answered that. One thing we learn about history is that we don't learn from history. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme a little bit. That's the things I'm trying to avoid. So Germany declared war on America. To support the alliance with Japan. Okay. Then poke the bear. See, but those are those things as far kind of sort of. So it's the timing. Cause okay, so that just seems more like the timing of when they would make this move. And again, I'm not sure whatchamacallit. You know how, like, where is that? You see, oh, so Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor's not in the U.S., right? So that's just saying that the U.S. had a base that's, yeah. I get that other part. I don't feel like whatchamacallit, right? So Hawaii. Oh, okay. Hawaii. Okay. Okay. Got you. It's not a contiguous state. It's not a contiguous state. That is a thing. Okay, I understand that. Now, so then that just goes on with that goes down with timing. Them doing that over there, and then like you just said, Germany a part of the alliance. Okay. Now, okay, that just feels like timing. That feels like timing as far as like people and things getting involved with certain stuff. Now, the reason we start to bring all of this up, it does control Indonesia and Japan, one of the reasons there. Okay, now it's those type of things, right? So it's the fact that similarities and parallels. And so even with not knowing too much, but just saying like, oh, is this or this, that, and this, like, this, it's one of the things right now, it feels like we are doing shit in the sense of like, they're like, who is we? he calling these shots, but it's like these attacks over here, these attacks over there, is like throwing your weight around type of thing. Um, I'm not the only person, but I have seen it when in the sense of it's just like, well, is somebody going to say, "Oh, y'all need to chill out," and what does that sound like, or what does that look like? Um, I so nah. I am totally um bro, like this right now, I am totally happy. Like I'm legitimately happy like having this conversation, like in a point of um factual information being put out, and then the other part of it is so there's learning, and then the other part of like I honestly admit like, bro, I remember some of this, but then some I'm not forgetting loosely, and then being able to put that stuff back out there, and then the other part, like again with history, one of the things about history is they're saying like, you know, after the fact you can sit here like because they ask you a question, and the question will say, should we have done this? Do you think we should have did this, Nagasaki and Hiroshima? Why or why not? But it's about, the justification for it. And there's no right or wrong answer. It's just, do you have like supplemental information to give a justified reason? And um, American Civil War than every American war combined. Yeah, so the the things were paired like right now it's trying to basically that's one thing I'm trying to like piece together right now. Or if you will say that we are trying to piece together right now, any parallels. Because hearing it is not far fetched, right? Now I said like the pinpoint of World War III. Some people are saying Ukraine. Some people are saying this Venezuela thing, But even with any all that, like again, propaganda and history, and is who tells the story, who gets to say this or who gets to say that, the victor, and however they decide to tell the story is how they tell the story, like So it's we don't learn the World War from Germany's perspective, but the way that we learn the World War we learn it as if Germany is always the enemy, right? So in Germany, they for sure probably don't say that they probably don't teach the World War that way. They probably don't say like, yeah, we're the bad guys always. Who made the Purple Hearts? Who made the Purple Hearts? So that's why I say that's why I'm like looking at certain things um, and trying to understand. Those are the things. Oh, somebody mentioned that. Somebody mentioned like there was a. I'm not sure if that's the one. Somebody mentioned there were two stories that were trying to like. It almost seems it's coming to about. One is 1984, and I think that was another one. Most likely World War III won't happen for a while. Once our races run thin. Sheesh. That's really not funny. Like any type of resources running thin, and then you can't even fight a war. That's really. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, okay. I was a little unsure. Um, wow. Okay. That they were the baddies so hard that they are now getting you protest. And even a mention of bad. That's funny. That's funny. Um, bro, you saying anything? I'm about to block you, bro. We talking about history shit, bro. Um, I I don't want no compliment right now. Talking about World War III and Civil War II. Not want a compliment. Um, so the other thing, like just looking at the historical context, looking at any parallels or similarities. This is why I mentioned like the rise of certain people, and like again, the economic depression. You know what I'm saying? We had um, in the 1930s there was an economic depression, recession. That's the Great Depression, right? Um, mm. So like that's what I'm saying. Like the parallels and how war generates money. War generates money. So, and I think somebody had talked about like China had a civil war, fought, and then went back to went back to their civil war. War generates money, and so even if like we are potentially in a recession or anything like that, would it be smart to incite a war? You know, um, especially if you think you can win it. These are like okay. I was saying oh, that's why I have this right here. We have social media now, and like that's just another like for whatever's happening right now in the Senate third, right? 30 to 40 years from now, when people talk about certain stuff, they're like, I wonder what they were doing and what they thought was this, that, and the third, da da da, woo, woo, woo. Hey, they were watching our live streams. I'm like, they was chilling. They didn't know what was going on. No, we ain't know, buddy. We ain't know, but we speculate. It's speculatory. It's speculation. American American banks loan so much money to France and UK they couldn't afford for them to lose and not pay it back. Mm. I think it's best to ignore the atrocities our government is committed to. Yeah, I think somebody put up an infographic of the list of countries invaded since 1945. And I'm not even sure if it was 1945. It might have been since the 80s. But it was so many. It was like a long list of countries. Um, I actually, like, I see that. I know that you just said that, but I actually, like, I know the date. I don't know why we went into World War One. I don't know what was like the big thing around. Like, I know the big thing around World War Two, but I don't actually know the big debate around World War One. Like, I just know it started in what 1914. It goes until 1919, 19. I feel like it's World War One starts in 1914 and goes to like 1919, something like that. Resource wars are likely going to come to effect sooner rather than later. I mean, Trump literally said that we went over there for oil. It's not even like he he changed the rhetoric from drugs to oil, literally. And maybe the UN will get its shit together and allocate resources to come. Don't know what the fuck they doing. You would have thought that, um, you would have thought that we were supposed to have world peace with the fuck they got going on. And is everybody a part? No, everybody's not a part of the United Nations, right? Everybody's not a part of the United Nations. And if not, that's one thing. And didn't somebody just annex themselves and remove themselves from the United Nations or something like that? Like within the last few years, somebody just annexed themselves and was like, we're not doing this. Wasn't it? Wasn't that? It was somebody. Wasn't it like Britain or somebody? Somebody was like, I'm not fucking with this shit. Like whatever was going on with the euro and the pound, they was like, man, fuck this. I'm not part of this. A strongly worded letter. We're gonna call it a treaty. Can we all sign this? Didn't we? We're having all these other treaties. Non-recognized states, but really everyone is there. Yeah, so that don't make sense why we got it's a whole bunch of shit going on. The Duke in Austria getting assassinated and triggering multiple alliances to declare war on each other. Oh, okay. But isn't there a joke? Okay, the UK left the Eurozone. Wilson wanted to reshape the world to a hyper-progressive world order, aka eugenics and government over each other. That was a revolutionary goals. Nothing to do with the UN. Okay, wasn't there a joke about like something supposed to get delivered? Or was there something about a painter? Oh my gosh, there was a joke. And when I saw it, I'm like, why do I even kind of sort of know this? Is there and it's not a joke. Like it needs to be taken like whatever, but it is like a historical like reference joke as to figure out like one of these wars, world wars, started because of something like I don't know if it was like a painter. I think that Duke of Austria shit. I think that was the what, but I'm not sure if there was supposed to be something else surrounding that. Duke Archduke Ferdinand. Ain't that his fucking name? Did you say that or did I? Duke of Austria. I feel like I know the name Archduke Ferdinand. I feel like I know that fucking name. Archduke Ferdinand. I feel like there was it's like a bad thing. It's not a bad joke. World War One. Well, we have two reasons. Yeah, the UN came afterward, like World War Two. Duke and Austria getting assassinated, triggering multiple alliances. One person. It's it's not that I. It's not even a little. It's how do I say this? If you asked me when I was in high school as a freshman, I knew all of this. As a high school as a high school freshman, I knew all of this. I had to write free response questions and document questions. After whatchamacallit, I don't care. I was a math major. Like the historical context of anything, it's only now that I'm just sitting here trying to piece together like and remember this, that, and the third. But if that's what I'm saying. Like at least I'm asking. Otherwise, for me, I don't know why the fuck we got into World War One, World War Two. I can reference whatchamacallit. I know Pearl Harbor, D-Day, Doomsday. I can sit here and say random fucking shit. Um, this thing. I can sit here and tell you the fucking dates for the goddamn wars. World War One is 14 to 19, and World War Two is 41 to 45. I can give you the fucking dates for certain shits. The Cold Wars is the 80s. You got civil rights strikes in the 65. I can say certain shit, but like the specifics of it, I don't give a fuck. Like, it's only now I'm just trying to piece like certain similarities. Like, it's like stock market shit. They like there's trends, there's dips, there's bulls and horns and whatever they be talking about. The logic and the jargon that refers to investments. But Warren Buffett was just like, yeah, it kind of just has a trend to it. And if you study it, then you know what the fuck's gonna happen with this shit. Um, the bull market. They got a bull and they got something else. One's the uptick and one's a downtick. Everything that we change about the world. World is a continuation. America's place in the world is because of the world. Well, that's where we get the legacy and I guess the stuff from. The lore of America. Arms race. It's awful. Teachers' dates, not the narrative. It's malicious design. Ever since the Department of Education was invented, the education system went down. Do it for the plot. Bro, it's the lore of America. So when you ask why did you was I would have to go back to her to explain it. Oh wow. See? But that don't anything that don't it's still not even trying to like the nooks and crannies of why the hell the connection. That would be, bro, that is fucking crazy, bro. That's fucking crazy. Somebody gonna make a video and be like, the reason, bro, 1914 to 1919, that's World War One. 100 years later, this is the reason we had to go, bitch, off 100 years ago. It all makes sense. Bro, what? Bro, imagine making these type of connections. That is crazy. Like, but then imagine somebody saying that, like, but no, seriously. Like, that is a whole thing, bro. That's crazy to make that connection. Crazy but true. Crazy but true. It's like, bro. America became a world police. I've never heard that phrase. so they don't get dragged into a third world war. Everything that's going on now is because someone pissed off someone 70 years ago. That is that is awesome though. I don't know if anybody else has ever heard that. America is the world's police. I've never heard that, like, that phrase. Nobody's ever said that to me or thought about it in that way. And that, I don't know, that doesn't that gives you a different type. Which one? Bill Clinton. Team America. World Police. Great movie. This shit is fire to me. I ain't never. Team America. Hey, bro. Captain America. Hey, bro. Right in the movie here, people. Cooked, deep fried, sauteed, baked, battered, buttered. Yo. World Police. Team America. World Police. I have to remember this. Team America. Team America. World Police. I've never heard that shit, bro. The American Navy ensures freedom of navigation of the oceans. Like it's never. That is beautiful, though. Lessons on dealing with North Korea. Somebody said I'm running a strict program over here. I ran a strict program in 2025. 2026, I got a program like North Korea. Damn. Yo, hell nah. America definitely has lore, bro. The fact that we're like the baby country of England, and then we beat them, and now we're making sure Europe, you better not do anything. You better not have. We're not doing no more war. We gotta keep this shit in order. And now the police, we're the police, and we just, yeah, you ain't gonna do nothing about it, cause you ain't, bro. Amazing feat by historical standards. I have to fucking write this shit down somewhere. Something the fuck. I have to memorize. These are terms I would like to memorize. These are fucking terms I want to memorize. Everything going on now is because someone pissed someone off 70 years ago. Ain't that some shit? They're like, well, why is this happening? Well, this happened. What? This happened. A series of unfortunate events. And I've never heard that. But it's like hearing it, you don't refute it. The Navy ensures freedom of navigation of the oceans. Like, that has never existed. That is like this phrasing. It's only 250 years old country. We speed ran to the most powerful country on earth. Damn. That shit kind of fire though. Not gonna lie. People love Europe to move to America because of the consequences. And America got drafted to 1 or 2 months a year. The lesson was never again. Yeah, that does. There it is, right there. We got the Italians in New York. We got them. You know, the opiates. Why are opioids illegal? And it was to attack a certain group of people. Why is this illegal? Because it's attack a certain group of people. The war on drugs. This shit is hilarious, but not really. Not really though. In only 250 years old, speed ran the most powerful country on earth. It's not even fucking like, that's the story that they gotta fucking say. We got an empire, people. That's the word that came up. That they're trying to get 3 empires. The American Empire, I'm not sure if it was China or Japan for the second one, but the last empire, it was the Russian Empire, the American Empire. Which one is actually a thing here? Is it China or is it Japan? I would assume I guess it's China then, huh? If I had to make an assumption. Because that's the last time I've heard of any type of. Japan be out the way, bro. Japan be like, we're going to focus on technology. We're trying to get to the year 2050 here. While y'all still in 2020, we still don't live in. Japan's focused on other shit. So I feel like it might be China. It would be more, it seems like maybe. I don't even know. I don't know. Ah, man. Those are really, which one? Big as the British, though. Yeah, they traveled everywhere and around them. But I think the other, well, this is why it's also like such just conversation. The new Avengers. Bro. Okay, there's two things to mention. It's the fact that every empire falls. That's the point. It's the point. It's the fact that every great empire has fallen. That's just, there's an inevitability with that. There's an end. And no one has ever conquered the entire world. I heard that, and that's what I was going to say. Like, even the Roman Empire fell, and it's always some attachment to the expansion of this and the third. And so that's why one of the last, I think I mentioned it before, but what happened with the Nagasaki and Hiroshima, that was at that time. So another reason that you just say, hey, how do we even go to war? Why are we even having a war? Is because of like the nuclear aspect. And one, we have seen like the effects of it. And two, it's that was 80 years ago? Is that 80 years ago? Am I tripping? I'm tripping. 60. 40 to 2000. 60. Am I tripping, bro? Yeah, these nukes and stuff, bro. Okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, 80. Okay. I thought I was tripping. It seemed like to say 80 something years ago was just like, but it was like, okay, yeah. Okay. So 80 years. If that was the technology 80 years ago, right? If there's even one, if one person even does one thing, right? That is probably like, that is probably the scariest and I don't think that, you see what I'm saying? it is one of those Zar. Bamba. You know what began to get me with the whole, there's a T, Z-A-R, and there's a C, Z-A-R. Zar. But that joint is Russian. I think what you do with a T. I forget who's the last one. But it's a matter of like, okay. Yeah, I know like the title wise, but okay. You know, what we did with the whole Nagasaki and Hiroshima thing is one of them type of things. Like, it's like if somebody just does it, right? If somebody does it, then there is no like response. You know, one is you assumingly once you whatever you decide to do with that, there is no response. Type of thing. If you basically do it the right way. And that's scary. That's the scary part. That's the scary part. You see what I'm saying? That's that is the cruelty that they talk about. How many lives for the sake of a small scale sense? You see what I'm saying? There is no, there is no response. There is no war to that. You see what I'm saying? Of where things stand now, where things stand, it is, I'm trying to just put it out there, right? It's who does it first. It's who does it first. For whatever reason why. But then that that's it from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is, because nobody, you don't respond to that. Because assumingly if the person, the attacking country did it, there is no response from that. There's no response from that. So that's what I'm saying. In the sense that, let's say, I don't want to say that, you put certain stuff in the atmosphere, this and that. You would like for, or these, so these are the things that kind of sort of go in such a way just for, it seems as if you got, if Trump is sitting here, we got Nigeria, we just did Nigeria, we did Venezuela. It's one of those, all right, we would probably do something and it would mitigate somebody trying to do anything over here. That's the way it kind of will look. But if somebody was to say you're doing a lot and you need to calm down, it could be just say, hey, boom. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. It could be that's what I'm saying from the outside, bro, multiple countries have declared the U.S. a national threat. Multiple countries have declared us a national threat. So, if they out here doing X, Y, and Z, and then they like, all right, yeah, they gotta calm down over there. One of them just say, all right, we got it. Boom. Like I said, depending on where they drop it at, there's not a response that's going to happen. There's not a response from the U.S. that's going to happen. Depending on where they drop it at, there's not a response that's going to happen. Because either one, they took out anybody who thought they was going to make an alleged response. You see how, what did we do to on a, like, you think it's small, you need to be thinking big. On a small scale sense, you saw what we did with Venezuela. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, we got the president. If somebody does that, bro, it's those type of things. It's been fun. Thanks for the information. They don't have the power or capability to mobilize ties, even if they try it. We've seen it and stopping it before it gets to us. Cuba's nice. Okay. Hey, I appreciate all of the. Cuba's name has popped up, but I appreciate against farmers. I appreciate all of the information and knowledge that was dropped in answering my questions, ignorant questions that I could have just, refreshed my memory on. But the last thing I was going to watch about though about that was the whole. Yeah, like, and I get what you just said. You said these are small countries. That's not who I'm referencing. It's the point. The point is I'm not referencing these small countries. I'm not referencing small countries. I'm referencing a big country or country that has the nuclear capability, one. And not only that, hold on, not only that, it's not far-fetched in the sense of what somebody said. Somebody was like, again, when the things was, things happening now is because somebody pissed somebody off 70 years ago, right? That. So we're saying something like that, right? It's always, like I mentioned Nagasaki and Hiroshima. They got to learn their history. If you get some patriotic people who really are for their country and this and the third, and there's a time where it's like, hey, I think we can go ahead and do this right now and just and get our lick back. Is what I'm saying, bro. There's a couple countries on that could be on some. Yeah, I think it's almost about that time we can go ahead and get revenge. What's the best dish served cold? Pizza, spaghetti, revenge. Yeah, so that was one of the things, which again, that was one of the things about the whole. We got a gift. Thank you for the gift. Grazie. That was one of the whole things about the Ukraine situation. That was one of the things about the Ukraine situation, which agitated Russia. Which was, thank you for the gift. Grazie, grazie. Merci beaucoup. Doesn't want to attack us, then we'll have to deal with many other countries. It depends on how things are going, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, it just depends. But those are the things that you guys want to look at. Who would really jump in or stop or this whatever, right? Muchas gracias. Thank you for the gift. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. But I get it though. I get it though. But that's why it seemed as if when they kept talking about collusion with Russia, it seemed as if it's something that may have needed to be done. Muchas gracias. Thank you for the gift. They may have seen that something that might have needed to get done, you know? Maybe potentially. As many and as much times as Trump has talked to Putin, and that's been a thing. Maybe was he trying to amend or have some type of, forge some type of relationship with Russia, so that they don't do something of that we don't expect, or just saying like, hey, we good, we cool, like those type of things, Okay, still got it. That's what I'm saying. Like there could be a vibe to that. There could be a vibe like, okay, like he probably was just trying to like smooth things over with them, make sure like we good, so that don't nothing happen, or if we go do this, that they gonna be all right. Like, those are things. Those are like conversations that could potentially have been had within the past few years. Like, there's a reason like he's making sure that we're okay with them. But one of the things is, even if it is, you still don't feel like, hey, bro, this is one of those whatever you want to call it, I guess prejudice type of statements. 6767. Appreciate that. Grazie mille. Domo arigato. Shie. Donc. It's one of those type of things. If be cool with them so that they don't, whatchamacallit. Oh, but I was about to say, if they was to switch up, you would still be like, dang it. That's what I'm saying. Like, when it comes to certain crunchies, like, well, if they were to, all right, just because of whatchamacallit, we're gonna need somebody to either like or unlike, because right now the number of people watching, number of likes, 2001. Hey man, we're gonna need somebody got to change the vibe. It's not funny though. Why can't America never forget? Why can't just perfect timing here. Why can't the US and the UK play chess? Thanks for that. One lost the queen and one lost two towers. I just had to get that out the way. I had to get that off my chest. Somebody told me that joke, and I'm not sure if it was a good joke or a bad joke. I'm just saying, hopefully, if you never heard the joke, you won't forget it. Yeah. I saw a simulator. There was this airplane, Google's flight simulator, and of course they were flying in New York, and somebody was like, just for experimental purposes, and it was like, bro, what the bro? Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, there's one more joke, and the fastest readers in history. I'm not sure if you know where I'm going with this, but the fastest readers in history, they went through 80 stories in like 3 seconds or something like that. Yeah, it was something like that. It was, the vibe was somewhere along that. It was like, I was like, oh. Yeah, fastest readers in history. Went through like 80 stories in like 3 seconds or something like that. I could the numbers you could switch up the numbers a little bit, but yeah, it's you got a lot of stories, a couple seconds. So, all right, but we eventually, all right, we're past that. We're past that. So we're good now. We don't have to make any more of those bad jokes. Never forget, always remember. What's the difference? Never forget, always remember. It's the same shit. Different day. Every day I'm hustling, hustling. Woo. Anyway, anyway. Um, bro, I'm just gonna block you because I don't know what the fuck you're trying to say to me. World War III or Civil War II? Do you have any input on that? That's what the fuck. Do you think that in 20 years from now, do you think that we will have just went through World War III, or do you think that there's enough civil unrest within the United States, potentially due to economic strain, that people will band together and something will happen? Coup d'etat, which means a blow to the head in French. Overthrowing of government. I think one good suggestion was that there a potential between state government and national government. There could be a whether a brief, or is it like, so this is actual good follow-up question. If a civil war were to happen, and it did happen between state, local government, and national government, then do you think that it would be permanent, or do you think that each state would go towards self-governance in its own way, or do you think that at the conclusion of the war would be, all right, we're going back to a national whatever, or and things like that? Or do you think the states go towards their own sovereignty? So that's an actual good follow-up question. That's actual good. Like, as far as like, if the Civil War is to deal with economics and political control between state and national government, so yours is a little bit easier. You're one of neurodivergent people. You're one of neurodiverse people. Move you out the way. Move you out the way. So that's one of the comments or sentiments that you would try to, again, right now, these are questions to maybe potentially entertain. Like, if just not sure, like, I don't know, you know. Because outside of that, because again, it would be like, okay, what's the source? Where does it stem from? Stem around? And then there has to start to be like some type of like, then, those cause shift in like laws and legislation. So those are one, and so one of the things I kind of sort of point to and think about is the amount of people complaining about their jobs. And if you thought it was so easy to just go ahead and get another one, then why are you still stuck at the one that you're at if you can easily just go get another one? The living paycheck to paycheck, just the lack of money, rent, high rent, not being able to do any and all of this stuff, owning land, just owning properties. I think there has been new legislation passed as far as like, I think it was about the absorption of land being bought up by corporations and turning it into profit for themselves, just buying up so much land and then turning it into like controlling the housing market. if the military unified or divided. So, but those are, this is why, like, this is why I tell certain people that I actually like, that I talk about. Yeah, that's nice to say. Something, whatever has to happen, will happen. Like, if it's on the verge of this or the third, whatever has to happen will happen for that, right? So, but the overarching thing behind all of that is it really takes a unified, concerted effort from people to hold their money in a certain sector. It really just takes, and that's the one part where conceptually you're like, yeah, it makes sense, but then like when it comes down to that, the time to actually do it is those type of things. But it's literally, even, it doesn't matter if you're a homeowner or you're a renter, right? If the collective, for, mind you, what is it? The first of the month? And you know, in saying this is not, I don't even know how to whatchamacallit. If for the first of the month to the 15th, from the first of the month to the 15th, if nobody paid their rent or mortgage, do you realize, and do you realize, and I'm not even saying, I'm saying on some fake it, just to see what happened. Fake it just to see what happened. Right? From the 1st to the 15th, if nobody pays mortgage or rent, they're going to be like, what the absolute collapse? No, no, it's not. Why? The economy doesn't collapse. You have your money. It just didn't go towards that. For them to evict you, they have to give you a notice legally. So legally, if you truly legally wanted to do this, you could legally stay there for the entire month. I said the 1st to 15th. You could legally stay there from the 1st to the 15th. However, the point of the matter is they didn't get money from anybody. So what are they going to have to do? That's going to force them to have to do some other stuff. And then now if they try to whatever they decide to do from there, that can then cause people to say, well, you know what? But this is what I'm saying. It ain't it's not what's required, bro. All it takes is that, bro. Not everybody just don't pay your rent or your mortgage for 1 month. What do you think happens? Do you think that, why does that not, that should register in the sense that they have to bend and cater to our will. They have to bend and cater to our will. That sends a clear message to them. They can't just, what does that sound like? They're going to evict every single person? They don't get no money. They're not going to have any money. They can't evict everybody. They're not going to have any money. This is why it's it makes sense, and it takes a collective matter to just say, hey, nobody pay your rent or your mortgage for 1 month. They're not going to evict everybody because they need that money. That's y'all are paying them. If they have nobody paying them, and then what do you say from there? Lower this shit. Lower this shit. How the fuck? Oh, you know the other thing people complain about? The people who rent, they have no way to pay in person. And the only way they have to pay is online. And they charge them extra to pay online. They say, hey, you got to pay through this portal and through this, it's going to be an extra fee. And depending on how you pay, whether you pay through direct deposit or whether you pay through whatever your means of paying, is going to be, you have a different percentage on paying. So they getting an extra 30. Mind you, some people, when people apply to an apartment, they got to pay to apply. So they getting free money from people applying. They're getting free money from people having to pay you online through a portal, and they don't have another way to pay. And then rent go up every year. And there's no loyalty if you've been living at the same place for 5 years. They still pushing your rent up. I don't know how this not making sense, bro. It make Dom Nichols pennies in logical sense and financial monetary sense. It ain't always going to be bailed out by the government. Government can't bail them out. It ain't that much money. How much money you think is in circulation? The bank, clearly, the first whatchamacallit was learned in the first time was that there's not, all the money ain't there. We have way more crypto and digital money than we ever had before. There's not a lot of money actually in circulation that actually exists. But even that whole part of either forgiving everybody's jank or in lowering it, there's a reset. Those are things, man. Those are things. And all of those things could like potentially sort of happen. And I think the other thing that people was talking about, the IRS has a CEO. The IRS has a CEO now. Which means that it's a what? The IRS has a CEO. That means it is not a government whatever. It has a chief executive. It's a corporation. It's a company. You see what I'm saying? The IRS has a CEO now. And just because of this, and I think the reason that this came up was because they talked about how a business is taxed off its profit, not its revenue. And so what does that mean? So you have costs to run your business. But assumingly you will have an influx of money so that you have enough money to, you have money coming in. The money coming in is your revenue. And after paying off all your costs, that would then lead to your profit. That's what it's taxed off of. But for American people, you're taxed. You're like, so somebody's made the point of saying, well, it would be different if we got all our money and we paid our bills off, because those are costs. And then the rest of it, the rest of it was taxed. If you were taxed after you paid your bills, but you're already taxed before, somebody had that was the reason that had came up. Never heard of BlackRock owns most of the real estate. They would be the ones to declare payments. Shark Tank talks about. So you're taxed beforehand, but what if you were taxed after you paid all your bills? You know, like how much of this or that would, and would that be more fair or anything like that? Now somebody did. I'm just gonna throw this out there because somebody did. They threw something out there, and somebody was like, "Could you please explain this? How this could actually happen?" But somebody then said, "Just take out an LLC on your property, and then have it go whatever, and then in the third or fourth year, give it $1 so it can have like this profit or something like that." It was weird. I forgot. Somebody they had to explain that job, but it was those. These are like the things and the conversations that are happening, and um, what is cool, I'm not sure. The tax savings company, that's why our tax returns are usually 6-figure paychecks. Like those things that they don't teach you in whatchamacallit, you gotta learn out the hard way. Um, so there was one more part about, um, okay, you got people, oh, okay, stuff like this, right? Where does this sentiment come up? Where does this logic, this rhetoric, or any of this stuff start to like pop up or stuff like that, right? Because I've never experienced. Well, again, uh, I wasn't an adult when Facebook came out, right? So um, it's the tools used for this and the third. So I wasn't an adult when Facebook came out, so but I'm saying like. But the reason I deleted my Facebook was because like it just seemed to be like this little, I don't know, people just complaining about all this stuff and you don't want to hear all that all day. But that's what I'm saying, like with the vibe of Instagram, like where could you have certain conversations to even learn certain, knowledge or information or like just know what's going on, you know? Like, especially if you're not watching TV, you're not watching the news, um, you're not watching TV, you're not watching the news. Where are you going to sit there and just pick up on certain things or even just knowing like what are people talking about, what's going on, and like just being either kind of sort of just detached. And so those types of things. And is it or is it not worth knowing? Like those type of vibes. Um, and because, and I'm saying is it worth not knowing or anything like that? It's like if you assumably don't know. I don't know why this is happening, but even if you did know why it was happening, what could you do about it or anything at all? Like those are the things, you know, maybe kind of sort of think about, like knowing what's going on. Is that what does that make you think want to do or not? It's like, oh well, I'm glad I know, but or does it have any bearing on how you live day to day or in a future sense, like well, I'm plan. I would plan to do this or do that, like type of thing. Um, those are just like what you call it, like just other little side questions or things to like think about. Um, but I think I was just saying like I've never. But where can you get it from? Ignorance is bliss, right? We've heard that, and then so now it's those moments and times where you understand it, and it hits a little harder. And and so that's one of the reasons you're like, yeah, I don't care. Like, so it's one of the reasons like when you like I used to just people I respect though, but I used to watch older people, watch the news, and I'd be like, bro, why are you watching this and yelling at the screen? Go watch something else. This is not what TV is for. TV is, but I'm not about to like. So I used to never. I'm like, bro, I don't want to watch the news right now. For you, I'm like, you sitting here watching the news, getting mad, when you be watching something else and laughing. I'm like, what was the point? Just, oh, I ain't trying to watch it. Don't care. But it is one of those. Uh, okay, you're like, oh shoot, well, and so you would rather not know, right? Is the what were we doing? We were making memes. We were doom scrolling. What are we scrolling for? What are we looking for? Why are we scrolling so much? I don't know. Escapism. That's I learned it from Aang, Avatar: The Last Airbender. He was just trying to escape all his problems until his problems came face to face. Then he had to take away their bending powers. But nah, for real though, and so, but it's one of those again, like for what's going on here or there, and and then and that's why I don't mind, in a sense, the social media aspect of humor for it, you know, um, like I'm laughing when they show that whole little, because I saw it again. I saw another one though. It wasn't the same one as another one. Um, DJ Khaled, another one. Uh, the whole, like I said, I took that shit. I took that shit. Whatever the Trump with the 6ix9ine J, I took that shit. Shit was funny as fuck. But you gotta, but hey, you gotta know what's going on. So that you gotta know the joke. Why is it funny? You gotta know what's going on. Um, this is and made changes as well. Step up. Oh shit. The insurance and things, right? But again, like when it comes to like certain stuff, and uh, when it comes to like certain legislation and what's getting passed and things like that, like I did remember, I don't even know how I was talking to this guy. He was like cutting grass or something, and he was like, "Yeah, I have grandchildren now, and I have to vote for them." he was like, "I have to vote for my grandchildren." Uh, like those are the things where it's like priorities and other things start to really take an effect, and it was just like that. Like it's either you're the next person up, you're gonna have to do this, you're gonna have to do that. Like when it starts to like of how it affects other people and things like that. Um, Especially when certain things are going to be enforced, and you like, oh, okay, boom, 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 like, and like you know how certain stuff it's not funny like when you actually see it happen, and it's like, oh well, yeah, they do need to whatchamacallit, like just for uh, conversation purposes, like with ICE and whatnot, it was I think there was, because at the point in time, like if you worked in retail, you saw that there was a dip in the Hispanic consumers, but they was not trying to be out and about and caught out in public for a while. You know what I'm saying? Just to be out here just shopping or doing anything, and then caught in public. Um, so that's what the one thing is about. Like that's why I say like that's that's a thing, you know, like and it's in a sense for like a Hispanic person, right? If they did not know what was going on, and it depends on which city you're in too, right? Because like I said, the National Guard was deployed in certain cities, and so not knowing, hey, what's going on, or not knowing what's going on, why it's going on, and then it just happened to happen. 151 votes, 151 original Pokemon, the originals, the originals. So those are all things to like take into account, take into effect, and you know think about. Those are all things to take into account, take into effect, and think about. And so, um, so yeah. Uh, that was it was, and I think what got me to like go down this path and thing was somebody said that. Um, yeah, and because those is directly around you, community county. But somebody saying it, and they saying it as a joke, but then it's like, if you think about it, it's like, well, it's not too, there's not too far fetched. It's an actual thing, you know. Word of mouth travel fast, so you know something. This one called that one. Hey, free money. That free money. Hey, bro, I gotta. Oh man, if I could find that one was funny as shit. It was the bill collector trying to call the Spanish person. That free money. That free money. You gave me free money. I don't have to. And then it was like, I'm gonna put on the accent. Anytime they try to call. DJ funny as hell, man. But so yeah. Um and then, like just even having a balance with life in that sense, right? A balance with life in that sense. And just saying, you know what? Just know enough. I don't need to know much more about the details of the crap. And it was like, I'm good. Whatever, I'm good. I'm good on this, that, and the third. And just, I'm going to go do this now. I'm going to go do this now. I have to remember Team America, World Police. And I just never heard the phrasing of just that. I'm going to have to go back up and look at that one again. Actually, I should just probably watch my part now. Just because writing it down ain't one thing, so I can just like look at it. Yeah, and the things that are going to affect you take way more precedence. However, just to try to, let me try. I'm trying to find that one first. That was a good part of. I should have highlighted it. Like the other person says that there would be no such thing. Like, would not do it. Just they're like nobody's gonna do anything. They're just too for forever, and that was the other part that is understandable. Where is it? Where'd that one go? Yeah, I feel like okay. I feel like it happened after this. Maybe. Where was it at? That was not. That was not there. At the end of the day, something there. I don't think it was crazy. I think it's crazy. Yeah, it was about police brutality. Police brutality, and now it's like ICE agents. What? It's just switch spots. So I get what you're saying. My only thing is that, how do I say this? I'm not sure how to really say this, but police brutality was a what the fuck? It's something that like I'm not sure how to phrase it. I'm just not sure how to phrase it in the sense of because they said produce brutality and then now ICE agents. I don't think, not that it wasn't a thing, but it's okay, police brutality might have been like a newspaper outlet on the this and the third type of thing, but for them and in real life, it's not a thing. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think the way I just said that is the right way to phrase this. That what I'm saying is that like we cared, or it was a media thing to talk about police brutality and whatever. I don't think they have a care or a sentiment about that. I don't think that's an actual thing that they even acknowledge to say like it's a thing. And it's bad phrasing for it, but I'm phrasing it in that way to say like they don't give a fuck about that. It's not an actual thing to them for them. That is just something people will talk about or say. Them, it's not a thing at all. I'm pretty sure I could probably like say something different about that, but that's what I'm trying to say. When you like, okay, you said it was about police brutality, and now it's like ICE agents. Basically, what I'm saying, yeah, it don't matter whether it's police, whether it's government, whether I don't think outside, like a normal citizen might sit here and talk about that. Police, government, anybody, I don't think they cared too flying stuff. Like, you know, I don't think that was a thing for them. I think that was a thing that we, like they hey, you know, like you could, like the media or the news or somebody else could talk about it and say, oh, this is a thing, we can get riled up and this and the third. And then like, but they don't care. That's not even a topic. That's not a concern. That's not even a real thing. None of that. Like, it's not an actual concern. It's not an actual thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really know how to like convey that part of that. That's how I feel about that whole thing. Like, let me see if I can give another example. I'm trying to figure like, it's something you care about that they don't care about. That's my business when I say like, it's something that you could, and the media would make it seem like it's the point of topic they care about, but for them they don't care about it at all. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I hope that you understand like that also reinforces what I'm saying. Like you said, police brutality is real. Okay, right? They have minimal training. So basically what I'm saying is like, that part enforces what I'm saying. Like, they like, it's like calling somebody a bully, and either one, they don't like, they don't know they're a bully. Two, they're not doing nothing about bullying. Or three, or all of this is like, oh, I know I'm a bully. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I know I'm a bully. I'm not doing anything to like rectify my bullying. I don't care I'm a bully. That's what I'm trying to say about the police brutality. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you can sit here and say, you're being a bully. That's what, you see what I'm saying? And then they're like, I don't care. I know. I'm making more bullies. That, I think there we go. So that's what I'm saying. That comment there that did it for me. It might be a real thing to us, right? Yeah. Yeah, you're getting bullied. Whether it comes from this source, or this source. Minimal training. Yeah, there's also reinforcement behind the bullying. There's nothing to correct it. I hope that drives it home. I hope that there was their analogy. There's their analogy. Yeah, it was this, now it's this, and they don't have no de-escalation training. They don't know how to get. They should be the more ones that's calm in the situations, but yet they seem to be the ones more agitated and ramped up. Bro, yes, that's what I'm trying to say, bro. Like, um, yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier. Like, it's a thing on our side, but it's not a thing on their side for whatever reason. Like, it's either you do or don't know, and whether you do or don't know the things that you have in place to that still does not do anything about it. Like, there's one just yeah. That's what the other person said. It used to be the cops, police brutality, but now it's ICE. But and that's the thing. Now as ICE, it has a target and it has a reason for the targeting. Okay, we're gonna we're gonna we're gonna take this sector of bullies. All right, we need an advanced sector of bullies to go after these people for this reason. It's a new mask, change face, new mask, give it a different name, put them in different suits. Yeah, that's all. That's what I'm saying about that. That's what it. That's the vibe. That's the feel. Like, I understand it in that way. I understand it in that way. All right, so now I'm still trying to look for the other visual guard because I do not want to forget them. I do not want to forget this. Darn it, I should have just... Oh, here goes one. Okay. It was that. And then the other one was... Oh, I just thought this was funny, man. I learned something new today. These are actually like pretty dope, bro. I'm definitely like, this is like, I'm pretty sure if I never heard this phrasing, somebody else never heard this phrasing. Where's the other one? Yeah, I think that's the one, Jane, bro. I found it, so I just wouldn't want to forget that. And I think that's the other part. At least laughing about the shit. Because we don't know how the shit gonna go down, bro. But at least, however it goes, and we just on the third, we can all say, well, what were you doing? I was making jokes and memes about it. What do we call a video version of a meme? Is that a thing? Is that a thing? ISIS for people who weren't cut out for the military or law enforcement. Yeah, I don't know if y'all seen the one video of people like actually escaping. It was like the guy, like he escaped on his bike, and it was like, I don't know. That was just one of them things, like they just did not catch the guy. Oh snap! Is that for real? These are the whatchamacallits, bro. I don't know if you joking about that. The 50K sign-on bonus and student debt relief. I'm not sure. Bro. It's one of those. Oh, all right. If you was to find out that one of your friends, whatchamacallit, you be like, bro, you really? And they be like, hey, listen. They offered me 50,000 off top, bro. No, this is not morally right, bro. 50K and I ain't gotta pay my student loan, bro. It was, bro. I'm just trying to get these benefits, bro. Like, bro. I hope you're joking, but if you were not joking, that was a whole nother thing. All right, now this is the thing, like, to either do or do not look forward to. Now, again, because we have the conversation is here centered around World War III and Civil War II, the deportation, right? Let me read the comment. Not even deporting the hardcore criminals. that the politicians say they are. Most of the people are regular, hardworking people or just trying to make a living. Somebody made a joke about the whole Venezuela guy. Couldn't he ask to get deported right now or something like that? Or wouldn't he said, I feel like, I'm not sure if it was a joke, but couldn't he just ask based off like the laws or the rules or something to like just be like, to get deported back to his country or something like that? Or something like that. I forget. Um, but now this is one of those things I did not look into, but it popped up every once in a while that there are places that people are camped. And I'm trying to figure out another word I can use to show that it's overpacked. There are overpacked camps of people in certain places. I feel like me saying it that way should sound familiar and analogous to World War II, is what I'm saying. People aren't getting deported, but they are housed. A GIF? No. Like, I'm talking about videos. Like, okay, a meme is just whatchamacallit, but I'm talking about a video form, like a whole video with audio that makes a joke about whatever. Like, do we have a word for that? Is that a word for a certain type of video that whatchamacallit? I'll just take your friends. The money. No, they didn't. Oh, it would still be a meme if it was just a video. Take your friends out. Nice dinner. You wouldn't give a shit. But no lie. Yeah, it's one of them type of vibes, bro. It's one of them type of vibes. Like, for instance, just the whole, again, 30 to 40 years from now, and they'll be like, what about whatchamacallit? And you be like, bro, we ain't know we was gonna make it to see 2027. So we was just living. We was doing everything as if it was our last days. You should have thought. But whatever whatchamacallit would be justified. Whatever we do is justified, I guess, right? Because somebody else also said, well, I wonder what the people were doing in 1940, 41, and like this and the third. And it was like, well, hey, they was probably just getting up, going to work, and then some of their friends were just disappearing. Yeah, and now the other ones that was actually whatchamacallit, just, following orders, like, this is what you're supposed to do. Hey, bro, people this is one of the reasons why I say that we got social media right now. Just imagine you could watch somebody. So YouTube is the closest thing we got to a time machine. Just imagine you could watch somebody's video or videos at that time. Imagine if they had social media in the 1940s. Oh, those videos would have. How many views would those videos have, bro? Okay, we got a joke. Oh, he was just following orders. Just following orders. Bro, if they had social media back then, you know how like judgmental we would be to see a normal, not even a German affiliated citizen, right? Just vlogging. And then be like, that would be one of, bro. This is why I said this is the only reason I think the channel is just different right now, and you're gonna be like, yo, like, just imagine, cause this is actually like a thing, right? That in 1940, now I'm gonna say 1943, just put it right in the middle of this whole thing. 1943, you could be watching a German vlog. You're like, yeah, I just got some breakfast, smoking a joint, whatever they was in there doing, right? And you be like, damn, bro. Within an hour away from you, this is happening. And they just live streaming this shit. This is bad, but it's like, this is for real, right? Bro, hey, bro. Now, the other part about this is that I just saw this whole thing. There were newspapers, right? 100 years ago. There were newspapers written 100 years ago about what would be happening 100 years later, right? So that's all I'm saying here. I'm just documenting. Just documenting. Bro, they gonna be like, bro, what was they doing? What was they thinking? I was laughing. I'm like, bro, nah. Let me try to, what's the message? I'm highly concerned about the state of America at this point. I really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the day after that. It's a lot of things going on that are not in my control. I'm thinking about the serenity prayer, which gives me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can change, and wisdom no difference between the two. And I just know there's not much I can do about certain things and a lot of things, and I can only have sovereignty over what I'm doing right now at this very point in time. And at least I'm a little bit aware about some of the things going on, but it's a lot of things going on. And there was a point in time when nobody knew nothing was going on until they found out in the newspaper, which you just had to kind of sort of read, and if you decided to read the newspaper, if at all. That's all I'm saying. Bro, if they had some social media and they were making videos, bro, you know that jam would be, oh my goodness, bro. Like, if you right now, we got to see the videos. We got to see the videos we got to see the Venezuela videos. Like, oh snap, this ain't AI. This shit really happening. Like, mind you, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. They ain't know what was going on. So, the fact that it was 2:30 in the morning and mad people woke up to the news, and I was just doom scrolling. I said, hey bro, how did they find, bro, I tell you how I found out. It was 2:30 in the morning. I was doom scrolling. I was just on the social media. I was just scrolling, and then I saw a video. I ain't paid too much attention to it. I would have thought it was fake. All this fake AI content, they're making fake videos now. I ain't paying no mind. Then I saw it again. I said, oh, this might be pretty real, people. I think they did something in Venezuela. They doing something. I watched the footage. People were screaming. This ain't funny, but this was real. This is what had happened. What had happened was, that happened, and then at some point I went to sleep. I woke up. They said it's real. It really happened. If that really happened, this is really what's going on. I was bamboozled. They said it was about drugs, and then 48 hours later, it was about oil. I don't know how we're going to sell their oil. I don't know why they can't sell their own oil, but it happened. What was I supposed to do? What did you want me to do? What did you expect me to do? Can you call yourself a law-abiding citizen? History in 5K. Hey, bro, just imagine they're like, bro, this is how they was recording. This was the best camera they had. They couldn't get no better visuals than this. Yeah, man. The Wi-Fi won't booming. The Wi-Fi won't booming. Nah, but for real though, bro. They're gonna have to play these videos in history class. Here's a vlog from World War III. Hey, bro. Here's a vlog during World War III. Press play. Bro, this shit not funny, but it's like, I don't know, man. I'm doing my due diligence, right? in a historical standpoint. And from a historical standpoint, isn't this the due diligence? They didn't have social media in the 1940s. The 1990s, 1900s, the early 1900s, matter of fact, they didn't have social media at all in none of the 1900s. I just work here. Like, so, yeah, this is what we're supposed to be doing. This has to be the purpose of life at this point. I'm just going to say the purpose of life right now is just to document. Um, okay, the Great Wall of China. I've never saw the Great Wall of China. This is why things gets a little disheartening. I never got to see the Great Wall. I never got to see. Is it the 7 Great Wonders or 8 Great Wonders? Which one is considered really the 8th Great Wonder? I don't even think they consider Niagara Falls one, or if they did. And then there's the ancient wonders of the old world and the new world. I couldn't name them all. The Hanging Garden of Babylonia. I think that's one of the ancient world. How does that shit and it do or don't exist, and we can't debate about it. But it's the thing. How do you even have a lore around something that never exists? The Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon's a what? Well, I guess. How was it made? Water and erosion. Why ain't no one else look like that? I don't know. It's just a high concentration of rock right there. But yeah, if we but this is got me a little self-conscious right now. I am kind of sort of thinking right now, like, for real, they didn't have social media in the 1940s. They didn't have social media in the 1940s. So, what would you like to say? Or what would the message kind of sort of be? What would the message kind of sort of be, or what would you like them to say? Or what could we say? You want them to think of you want them to think of us in a positive way. But then it's like also even this part. They're like the part of the message that get clipped. You know, the whole time they were trying to figure out how to make so that they want us to see them in a positive way. Make America great again. They was over here saying slogans. They was over here saying slogans. Oh man. Oh, I get that one. Oh, okay. See, the first few times, I just knew it wasn't something I should say. The first few times, I knew it wasn't something I should say. But it's, again, I call it just teenage. I just say teenage boy because I don't think teenage girls joke like that. But teenage boy humor. I actually like because I was like, I've seen that name before, but I just didn't whatchamacallit. So, oh man, I probably at this point I could low key make a list. It doesn't have to be a very long list, but I could low key make a list and say, hey, if any of these, remember when trolls used to live under bridges and told riddles? Yeah, let this be your last Audacity transaction. When was America great? Hey. We just had an entire low-key little mini history lesson about the lore of of America. And the last one was we're low-key an empire. And we did this relatively quickly. In the history and the context of a lot of things, we the ascension and rise to power It happened relatively quickly. We're the American Empire. And we can say this, that, and the third. But where else would you want to live? That at the end of the day, and let me just say this. You can go to jail for posting a meme in England. I think 12,000 people got locked up last year in 2025 over what they posted on social media. So what I'm going to say is, where else would you rather live, brother? You know, the next adjacent country, you're like, well, if I go to England, I can at least still, a spot to you, I can understand what they're saying over there. But where else would you rather live? You know what I'm saying? Everywhere got flaws. I just shit. You get arrested in England for that. You get posting the wrong thing, bro. I couldn't imagine, bro. You know how many memes? You're not even sure which memes. Like which one is a lockable up offense? A country doesn't allow me to go bankrupt for health issues. Yeah, now that is also a thing. Stay healthy. You know, you're poisoning me with the food. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. I might have to watch Shrek again, bro. I might have to watch Shrek. Nigga said, not the buttons. Not my gumdrop buttons. Bro, I think what took me out, bro, it was the specificity. The specificity of the not my buttons. Not the gumdrop buttons. Bro, that joint got me, bro. Did my pretty fire low key. Did Mark. Hey, bro. Those are the things I live for. I did it for the plot. And then somebody like goes to, like anybody who ever knew you, right? And then he's like, I wonder where, he's in Denmark? What the fuck is he doing in Denmark? A spot too. It just be, I don't know, whatever the fuck you doing random something, just, I don't know what the fuck you doing in Denmark. What the fuck is you doing in Denmark? It's just funny as fuck. Those are the type of things. Just random ass place. Oh shit. And then it's the severity of the conversation. Do you know? Bro, you gotta, this is why I posted that video, bro. You gotta watch that shit. Do you know the Muffin Man? Hey, bro, it's the fact that he really does say it like that. And this shit, Joe's real fucking dramatic, bro. Shout out to the animators. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? Who lives on Drury Lane? Yes. He lives on Drury Lane. Yes. He lives on Drury. Well, she's married to the Muffin Man. Bro. It's the seriousness of this motherfucking conversation. It's the seriousness for me. I'm sorry. You had to be there. You had to be there. The fuck is he talking about? Shrek. The first one, not the second one. I can't even recall the second. I'm not sure if I seen the second one. I know I seen that motherfucking first one though. Man, shout out to the voice actor on him, Austin Powers. Austin Powers, bro. This so legendary, bro. He did Shrek. He did Austin Powers, and then just vanished when the world needed him most. Oh gosh, bro. Oh snap. Made a movie with Beyonce. You got Eddie Murphy. Bro, this is just fucking Wayne's World. Bro. Oh my goodness, bro. Do you know the Muffin Man? Bro, it was really, bro. You know, just if you ain't seen that scene, bro, I was like, bro, that jump was just Lord Farquaad. Bro, you gotta make some more. We need some good ass cartoons, man. And we gotta make some more cartoons And the humor got to be in such a way the kids don't understand it, but the adults understand. Because that was one of the Jones was like, bro, people was like, I'm watching this movie again, and I did not know that this is what they was referencing. Talking the Grinch. Oh man. Now, just because um, I'm making waffles, yeah, science. Um, the Grinch, bro. When you start looking at the Grinch as an adult, he's like, hey, they were swingers. Hey, oh, behave. All right, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the swinger girl from the show Recess swinging around the whole um, thingy, the whole little. What the fuck is the rest of the swing called? What the fuck is that shit called? All you know is you trying to swing over the top. All you know is you trying to swing over the top. Now, thank goodness somebody actually did it, but it's like a life-size swing, number one, and the person's like standing on the swing, and it does not. They're poles. They're poles, and yeah, and the person actually does go all the way over the top, and they go over like 3 times. And I think everybody in the comments was shout out to Swinger Girl. I don't think she ever made it. I think she vanished, and we never saw her again. Recess is legendary too, bro. Recess is legendary. Now there was a conversation. Who do you think will win? Hey Arnold or the kids off Recess? The kids from the playground, mind you, they got all the kindergartners too, badass kindergartners, or Hey Arnold. And so, who's gonna take out who? You got T.J. Detweiler, you got Gretchen, you got all these people, Helga, all these people. They always got it. Who's gonna win? This is what we should be talking about right now. Nah, but there was that. Now where was I going before that? Oh, got over the top of the swing. Oh, it's not physically possible. I think as the swing is set up with the whole chains of a swing, there's just no. You're just humanly one small step for mankind, whatever that he says. I don't care. I'm still gonna be saying that for a while. Dang, I don't care. I don't care. Conspiracy? Tinfoil hat? I don't even know where the tinfoil thing come from. I don't know where that reference come from. But conspiracy tinfoil, what's one that you believe in? And you like, I'm standing on the hill on this one. This conspiracy that you believe in, like, I don't care. One small step for, what the fuck is that even mean? Mankind and humankind? What the? One huge step for mankind. I don't know the record. You know what they said. Allegedly, they landed. And never again. It only happened once. It was a one-time thing. Never happening again. It's too many resources. Yeah, right. Jeff Bezos is building a clock, a cuckoo clock, that will only go off every 10,000 years. They don't got enough money to go back to the moon. Fuck out of here. They don't got... Bro, this is what I'm trying to say. They have an international space station. Don't you think it would be the moon if they could get there? Anyway, it's a conspiracy. I'm standing on this hill by myself. 6 times. I ain't never heard about the other 5. Where's the evidence? I ain't go through hey, the realest statement of 2026. They talk about enough money to go to the moon. I can't even go to the corner store. Race you to the mailbox and back. You try 8 times. 2 of them ended in disaster. We focus on success. I wanted the Apollo missions. Apollo 13. The 13th one made it, huh? But it's one of those, why are we scared of the number 13? And I think, I legitimately think that you can't really go to like the 13th floor, right? Or something like that in like buildings and whatnot. I think, isn't the 13th floor like off limits behind any building that's like over that? Or it's also, if it's not, it's definitely reserved. They either skip it or it's definitely reserved, something like that. Um, I was going to have a whole nother reference. I'm just the last thing with the swing, but because I was saying it's like it's not humanly possible. It would make sense if you could generate enough speed. It seems like you would make sense, but there's not enough tension in the rope, especially not enough tension in the chain when you're going up, especially over above. It loses it loses its tension, which is why you're able to do it. Well, the guy was able to do it with the poles, but I think I was also then going to mention. Um, that one is always funny. Those people, I'm just not even. Those who shall not be named, right? They're always whatchamacallit. Um, because Lord Voldemort. Oh my gosh, I'm really trying to. Oh, what the fuck am I trying to? Okay, I said the whole thing with attention. Oh, polls. Okay, there was this parent, and apparently there was a parent, and apparently their kid was in a chat room, and oh, let me. When somebody I guess allegedly said that the the kid wasn't straight, and so the kid was like, "I'm straighter than the poles your mom be working on." Clap back. I'm straighter than the poles your mama be working on. Your mama jokes top tier. Bringing those back. Bringing those back. Oh snap! Okay, that's the first time somebody said this. All the world wars were started by accident. Not this one. Not this one, buddy. Okay, this is one of those. Okay. Okay, in a shit premeditated, bro. Okay, how do I explain this? Oh, like I said, you got Mussolini. I can't even name the other ones. Like, but at this time, there were a group of fascists, FASCIST, plural S. So FASCIST. They were a group of fascists. Common word for that, dictator. There's a group. I feel like there's one more word, but for whatever they were at, and they went to call themselves, they were that, right? That's what they were named as. Mao Zedong, Lenin. You gotta, and I think Stalin is at the time. Is he considered a dictator? Is he considered a czar? Like these type of things I'm talking about, right? So those were just whatever, right? Like it's the not to get whatever, but just to say it. It's one of those but there's like, yeah, when I be reading this book, it sounds like God be giving a lot of orders for war. God be doing a lot of killing. It's one of those. Okay, I heard like the one guy talked about. It was like if he also does this, then he also does this. Like it was one of those like with with those type of things. It was, you know, he also allowed for this to happen, or for this to happen. Like these are those things that people like sort of think about when they talk about like the good and the bad, whatever. Like, oh yeah, all of them don't come from this, and some of them got to come from here. And so it's like the good and the bad that will just happen. So anyway, of like this like a God ordained like dictator or a fascist, like that's what they were going to ever be in life, right? And so it's the matter of assuming that type of power, that type of control. But this is what is like destined to like be anyway. And do you shy away from that or not? And like, you know, those come down to like, and this is why I'm sitting here speaking in from a point of matter of like, again, philosophy, rhetoric, and being able to go from there. That is not what I want to hear. That's not what I want to hear. Um, um, uh, how many wars have started over religion, right? And religion's supposed to be peaceful. How many wars were started over religion? So those are the type of things. But like I said, uh, like courage, confidence can be used as words for those type of people, right? Um, so no, most of them, most wars were of have a religious start, especially predating governments and things like that. Um, and so uh, with like that's why I say with it's I just have a sense of I just be laughing whether it's dark humor or whatever it just ain't there anyway. Like for somebody said that Trump doesn't have like personality. He's not charismatic. Are you serious? And when I'm saying like I'm like, bro, what? It's one of those like, um, it if anything, whatever word that you try to call him outside of what it does, like he has a ton of personality and a sense of humor, and whether we agree or don't like or anything like that, as much as whatever it is, he continues to move. He continues to move in such a way. So um, that's why it's one of those like if this is what's gonna happen. It's like of all people and at all times, right? Of all people and at all times of like, bro, this is how it's gonna call it. You it's like those like it's certain things that you gotta say is like, bro, like I don't know what he dropped the F bomb. Like, bro, he called he called the other president. He called the other presidential candidate. He said, "Your brother's a crackhead, bro, bro." Like it's mad stuff. That's why the whole when that 6ix9ine thing came out, but it's 6ix9ine's voice, but it's Trump. This and the third. I took that shit. I took that shit. But it really was on some shit like that's what Trump probably would say. Bro, this nigga got shoes and shit. Bro, this shit is just like, man, um, I don't, this is what I'm trying to say, bro. He be, like, bro, he was in there falling asleep at the press conference. And I was like, man, this just, is just, some parts be like so unserious, bro. But, and then like, now those, there are some huge major, like, character flaws and like allegations and or just proof against this and proof and then it's like nah, those is really not okay and it's like and so like it's like those people who get to like certain places in certain realms and they become disassociated with society and like I thought it was different. Elon was calling people zombies. Elon and like and you can only like those are the things is like with the way that people talk about, and I would just say like normal common citizens in one standard and regard, if they're able to say that in one sense, just imagine if they were all in their super yachts and just sitting and they're only around people who don't talk to normal common people in any everyday anyway. And the conversations and the way they talk about if they even refer to it and like but if that if the if you're able to hear them say this term, what term do you think that they would use or say in a whole nother, so that's why this when like hearing them say certain things you're like dang, this is how they refer to people as a zombie, as a lunatic, as this that, and the third. But then like if they were like extremely comfortable around other people, the things that they're saying and doing. um so like this is what I'm saying, like it's those types of joints, but like um, or the things that you can or cannot, like if you feel safe in during certain times or unsafe or this, that, and the third, or just the things associated with or around a person, you know? So, funny saying that, the last ones were accidents. Well, you think this one's going to be an accident or Because and that was the like again that's one of the parts of like this conversation right now was the fact that it almost like from right now my standpoint it would seem as if I say it this way it seems as if like the civil unrest again sending the National Guard into multiple cities and this and the third and with the way the state of the economy is and the third and like so that he could implement the Insurrection Act, boom, that seems like very intentional, you know? Then, hey, I got a nice little Christmas present, little words, little words. We gave him a nice little Christmas present for Nigeria. We went over there and we took the president of Venezuela. We got him in custody. And we did it like those seem like very intentional. So it's like if certain things is happening and then certain like it's a domino effect and then how does this whole a swing of whatever it happens? Because somebody said it all feels like we collectively feel like we're waiting for something to happen. And all right, these some big words. Cult like eugenist. Now that eugenicist, that word eugenics did come up earlier. Influences among rich Silicon Valley people. Haven't heard about Silicon Valley in a while. Haven't heard about them in a while. Just even that area, that sector. But most of it was. Actually, I don't even. It was supposed to be like this big tech thing, but I'm not even sure. Now the conversation has moved towards AI centers, and I'm talking. It's a lot. I don't know how people feel about that, but some people are saying like, bro, again, let me take this common standpoint because like my initial reaction when I first heard it, what the fuck does this have to do with water, right? And caring about it. So there was this whole thing about like these AI data centers using water, and I was like, bro, I don't know how it has to even kind of sort of go about that. I'm trying to figure out like, do I answer that type of question? And it's like, whatever you think the answer to that question is, I want you to, I just blocked you, but I want you to know whatever you thought your answer to that question was, let that be the truth. And whatever that you needed me to say or do that says you never talk to me or watch me again, let that have happened in your head so that you don't this and the third. And just always remember that if I'm unemployed and I'm gonna wake up to no job, which I haven't been for I don't know how long, but just remember, you got bills that you need to pay, you got car note, car insurance help, you got all this other shit you should be cared about and worried about. And just remember, where did this lead you? To quote the words of Thanos, right back to me. Snapping on these bitches like Thanos. Like, however successful you think you are, just remember. oh yeah, I got that person up out of here real fast in a hurry. Well, just remember, where did that lead you? You talking to me and me not wanting to talk to you. And you trying to get what he wants without punishment or accountability. That's how I say it personally. Hey, but that was the whole Congress, though. That was the whole Congress, though. And I'll say this much. We all have something to share. Stay humble. But I'll say this in one sense. Congress worked 87 days. And full-time salary. What, are they doing their job? What were they elected to do? All they do is sit in a room and talk to each other all day. They don't have hard days of work. None of this is, the hardest thing they ever have to do is pick up a pen. And apparently, allegedly, they don't even do that. They haven't been meeting. This is not hard things to do, people. It's not hard to get up and have a meeting. They ain't been legislating. They ain't been voting in the way that we want them to vote. They've been voting on whoever paid them the most money the way to vote, on top of their salary. Like, okay, but I'm saying, and again, I'm trying to like, and when you talk about certain things, to at least have a, and like go from different perspectives and this and the third. It's a, it's if there's one thing, Trump in there doing something. you 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 ain't gonna say he ain't do nothing. Hey, you ain't gonna say that he ain't do nothing. That like something like, man, he ain't do nothing. No, he did something. Whether it affect you a good or a bad way, something happened. It was a lot going on. There, this is what I say about one of the one things, bro. For good or bad reasons, he make you pay attention, bro. He make you pay attention, bro. Like you go, you know where you was at, you know what you was doing, He make you pay attention, bro. When have you ever paid this much to anything going on ever? Like, hey, bro, ain't you supposed to stay informed? And this and the third. At first it was he on the golf course. Niggas weren't happy about that. They couldn't be calm. They couldn't be cool. It's like, all right, make some shit happen. Give him something to talk about. And I think that was the one jank that kind of like was the most jarring thing for me recently. I've been saying that word a lot lately, but jarring. But it was legit though. I picked up a newspaper. And there were so many articles about him. And TSD me. There were so many articles about him in one newspaper. And I was trying to figure out, well, damn, what else the fuck? And it won't even about like one of the articles was literally like, is he a billionaire? You turn a couple more pages, and then it's about anything and everything. Is like, bro, what? It was hard to escape it. It was hard to escape. And I don't like. This is why I try to like. I'm trying to like preface certain things. Like, again, like I put it on a shirt, but it's not even here. Like, it was all over German magazines, and you see Trump on German magazines, and I just don't think that I've been walking around or seeing. I barely see any magazine newsstands or anything, but still, I won't be seeing other country leaders plastered across our newspapers or magazines and stuff like that. But that is happening. Like, he's on multiple. Trump and Putin are on multiple magazine covers right now. And so, yeah, that was the like, that's why I said, like, that was the point about this conversation. That, again, on social media, it was a, like, reading it, hearing it, and seeing it, and then just being like, well, you know what the person said? The person said, which one's going to happen first? The bad. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Which one's going to happen first? That was the actual question. Do you think that we'll have World War III first or a Civil War II? And so then some of the comments was saying that for World War III, you could point to Ukraine or you could point to Venezuela. And then for Civil War, you could point to the National Guard being deployed into multiple cities. You know what I'm saying? Because the comment earlier was made that, because it was like, well, where would it possibly stem from? And so the comment was this battle between state government and national government, you know, and that's like seeing, you see how like that it's making a thing there to what's happening. The National Guard is getting deployed into the states, and it's to what? Shut down this state, shut down what's happening in this state or whatever. And the one part about that is the fact that, how do you say this part? Again, what was the rhetoric prior to January 1st? That Venezuela was shipping boats of drugs in here. We're trying to get drugs over here in boats. That was the rhetoric, and so you saw videos of boats getting blown up because it's supposed to be for drugs. Immediately after obtaining Venezuela's president, it was, yeah, they got oil. And literal words was, they don't have the infrastructure to sell it. So we're going to do that, and we're going to be the ones selling it. So even if right now, and I said that to say, the reasoning for sending in the National Guard into certain cities was one thing until what? Until something else, and it's like, okay, well, this is the real reason we sent the National Guards in there. So those things happening and already being in the throes of it. Always making news, surprisingly, because I think the one making real waves, Zhao. Yeah, what's going on over there in China? And you never know, right? You never know until you do know, because something happens and then it's like, again, a series of unfortunate events. Like this happens and this happens, and like again, because again, like I just said, right now there are genocides happening in other places, and we are not going over there and we're not involved in it. But for whatever reason, something happened with Ukraine, and we all of a sudden this and the third. And so, and just what happened with the other one, it was, oh, well, this happened. These people are fighting, and so because we have an alliance with this country, we got to go jump in this one. And it ain't really got nothing to do with us. But the fact that we align with somebody that is trying to do something is one of those type of things. So when or what happens until it's like, oh man, well, shoot, you know? If we have, like, again, China was just mentioned. China is mentioned next to who? Japan. China and Japan have had multiple wars. They have had, you know what I'm saying? So going from there, even with that, right? China had multiple wars with Japan. And right now, what do we have? We still have a military presence in Japan. One, we got Hawaii. Hawaii is a U.S. state that's way in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And then we also have, with the whole Hiroshima and Nagasaki, like having bases set up in other countries. And then you just got to think, like, either one, a country does or does not like that. I doubt they like that. And then just like, you need to get out of here type of thing. Like any of those could, like, at any point in time, right? You know how I was just like, it's only a matter of time before this or that. But like one of the rhetorics now, the phrases that I had never really thought about or just never really conceptualized, the fact that the U.S. being the world police, the police of the world. Yeah, but then you also just thought about like how the sentiment towards the police in America, they don't have a positive connotation. Most people do not have a positive feeling about police. Police, you generally refer to getting a traffic ticket. Why the fuck can my car drive 150 miles per hour and I can only ever go 60? fuck? Just make all the cars go 60 miles per hour then. So we ain't got to deal with this shit. Um, it's those type of things, bro. Like cops generally they come after the fact, and you don't want them doing anything before the fact of the matter because then you got situations like Zimmerman. You're doing too much, too soon, too whatever. You too trigger happy. It's like cops don't have police don't have a positive connotation, which means a feeling around them. So just imagine us being a world police. Hey, bro, you might want to back up. Just this that and that. You never really know. You know what I'm saying? You just never really know. I've been inciting anything. Operates over 750 million in roughly 80 countries and territories. We're only getting bigger. America is an oil company that just happens to have a military. Something like that. Somebody said that. That was nice. Nice phrasing. That was nice phrasing. But yeah, we're just right now it's all speculatory. This is what we. These are just the opinions and opinions are like, assholes, and everybody has them. So does it or does what does and does not matter. I have not heard Greenland. I have not heard Greenland. I did hear Cuba. I did hear Cuba. And I'm just gonna say, yeah. Because I think somebody said, hey man, leave Colombia alone. They got some nice things over there. If you know what I mean. There's some nice things over there. The peaches and the mangoes. Yeah, man. The Georgia peach. The mangoes. But Greenland I haven't heard about. And again, my only thing, Venezuela was one of those, again, like there was one thing being said and then it turned out to be something different. Now they also mentioned like resources. Not for nothing, it's like, okay, resources, oil, whatever. So the only thing that would make sense is like, okay, well, what is over there? But I also don't feel like my geography may be off, but I feel like geography wise, I feel like Greenland is in Europe, and that I just don't. Again, we're supposed to be keeping things calm and peaceful. I don't know how us going over there and this and the third. Greenland seems like, but I also didn't understand Nigeria. So, that's just let somebody else do it. Why? Ooh. Okay. See, when I kept saying that multiple countries had declared us as a national threat, I think Denmark was one of them. I just didn't want to say that. So I like I said there are two countries. Two countries have officially declared the U.S. as a national threat. I didn't want to say it, but I thought Denmark. I think Denmark is one of them because it's just not what you call it. And the only thing is, and so this is what I say. Like, okay, and I'm not trying to say this in a good or bad or whatever. I don't good, bad, indifferent. I'm trying to figure out. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, like holistically, just perspectives is that third. Like, he's doing things, right? He's just doing things, and so that's one of the I don't know, like this, like there's a level of transparency that a ruler, leader, like leader is the positive word, right? A leader should have. Until you start doing too much to do this and the third. But when he says something, there is definitely action taken behind it. I will say that. There's usually like action behind it, bro. Thank you for the gift. Grazie. Domo regato. Prego. That's how you say you're welcome in it. Prego is you're welcome in Italian. But merci beaucoup. Muchas gracias. Thank you for the gift. If I would, like, I just haven't heard that, but if I was to hear that at all, it would then like make that a very real reality, and it would just become like a matter of time, right? It's like this this is only his first year, within his second term though, within his second term, but a lot has happened, right? I think most people can agree a lot has happened. And if not within, if you're not even gonna say the first year, within the last week, a lot has happened, right? The whole Nigerian and Venezuela thing was just within a week. So if there was, I haven't heard of it, but I'm seeing two comments about that. The whole thing with Greenland. It's only a matter of time before there's action taken towards. And the reason I'm saying that is because the other one was, and I'll speak for myself when I first heard it, and this is what is, well, other people may have shared the same one, but you thought that him trying to get Canada was a joke. You thought him trying to get Canada was a joke until he went over there. You thought him trying to get Canada was a joke until he went over there. This whole thing with Greenland, again, I wouldn't know why. And it's only a matter of you give a fake reason, and then and then once you get it, and depending on how you get it, that's the thing. And going from there, and like I said, like somebody said, the first two were accidental. All I'm saying is this shit seemed very intentional, bro. It just seemed like one person is doing this, whatchamacallit, bro. It seemed like one person is swinging for the fences right now. And I don't know why. But that's the whole thing. Don't know why. I just don't know. We don't know what the story's going to be like. Because the other part is that we ain't lost. When the last time we lost, right? I mean, when the last time we lost? So I think it's just the only way the truth is ever going to come out is if we ever do lose. If the empire ever does fall. That's the only thing that has to happen. The empire has to fall. The empire has to fall. We have to lose. And then somebody be like, well, this is the truth. And this is how this is what was really going on. That's what I'm saying. Okay, that's why I said the reasoning beforehand versus the truth afterwards don't matter. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like the reasoning prior to taking action could be whatever, because we've just seen that. But the reason afterwards, the truth afterwards, could be, all right, well, this is why we over there, and this is why we did that. And so the crux of the matter would be to say, well, how do you get to, or does anybody know the other reasoning behind why Greenland, right? Why Greenland? Like, is it a resource thing? Is it a resource? Is Greenland also a resource thing? And if it's not a resource thing, is it what could be another, if it's not a resource? So just because of the whole, like, with the Ukraine thing, basically what I was saying was, when you hear the fact that Ukraine is basically like, and setting up any type of artillery and stuff in their backyard, you then realize, okay, Russia has a legitimate reason for whatever, right? But it don't seem like they're actually trying to be the bad guy for anything. They're not antagonizing. They're just reacting based off of what people should not be doing. So just the things about around like what's going on, even if it's to say like a fall guy, even if it's to say a fall guy, like, yo, you do this and you take the blame or the fall for causing something this or something to happen. Uh, those are the type of things that you just look at and look in the historical context or reference, like why this person would or would not care to be taking the blame. Um, Leader NATO, wait for the Western. That's for sure. A big failure. And it's just it's the fuel, right? It's the fuel for the flame. It's the fuel for the flame. And like, from there, like, like timeline from there, oh, the rapidity of how things would happen from that moment forward, like, this happened and this happened, and like, how many people that, so, okay. That's the point. Or that's one of the things where people had the rhetoric about the rich people have keep coming up. It was if it is not, the certain things that are okay. Like one of the whole things with like Bush also, if not what if it went, I just remember at learning or hearing at some point, Bush had a whole oil rig in Texas or something like that. So he was definitely going to profit from this on the third. And so it wasn't this whole like for real the America. It was like that person in particular type of thing. So saying it in the sense of how does it benefit them? Like that, I said, that's why I said earlier, like sometimes some of the things it was like like for them, it feels like they're trying to get as much power, resources, or whatever as they can consume before there is a collapse. And if America collapses, then they'll be okay. Somebody said Earth is like a resort for 500 rich people, and then the rest of us are just staff. Like you made the joke earlier. I just work here. it won't know. You know what I'm saying? It's at the third. It was like one of those type of things where I'm not sure if it necessarily is for the certain things happening for the greater good of whatever. The rich get richer. The only billionaire that gets taxed appropriately is the lottery winner. The tariffs. We don't know how the whole tariffs thing worked. We just assume that they just increased the tax coming forward to another country. And then the whole point of the matter is like, do you even understand why or why not type of thing? You see, like, this is what I'm saying. Let me see, what's your last question? With the cost of these resources invaded or not have terrorists since it's ours? The whole, like, that's what I'm saying. The whole thing with the oil thing, bro. That's what I'm saying. He said they don't have the infrastructure to do it or whatever. But yet we're going to go over there and somehow we're going to sell it for them. We're going to sell their resources for them and he was like, yeah, a couple other countries will be top buyers and this, that, and the third. And one of the Jones, he had to kind of sort of like move around it in such a way, but you know, they're like, well, you can be selling it like, cause who's closer? You know what I'm saying? Or this, that, and the third. He's like, well, you gonna be selling it to them or them or them? He was like, well, I still gotta work on them, but da da da. So it's like who is buying and who is selling? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, how the hell do I explain that shit in a different way? Like, bro, if it's like, bro, if they have a resource to be sold, what the fuck makes you think that, and they're not selling it, the fuck makes you think that somebody else gonna be able to sell it for them? That's like me. That's like you have a product and like, oh, you ain't never gonna sell this shit. I'm gonna sell it for you. That don't make no type of sense, bro. Like, and so if they don't have the infra, like, how much money is it gonna cost for us to go set up an infrastructure to go do whatever and this and third? And then from it wasn't the way that he phrased it. It was on a, even if it's like the legitimacy of these are the actions that's going to be taken. It's a, we'll make money off of it, but like, just, bro, like, because that's what I think that's another point when people say certain stuff. Is, bro, how you gonna get that over here? And ain't that a whole lot of like, whatever you got to do to get that over here? Like, is it that serious, bro? Yeah, fair. I bet if you win the lottery, um, you're asking me how they're taxed, the lottery winners getting taxed? I'm not sure. You have a couple options? Like, well, I think there's only two. Is either all the money, but you don't get all the money. I think that's like common knowledge. Like, you still end up, you don't get the full whatever amount. Um, and then the only other John is that I think you can get it in increments. You still don't get the whole amount. I think the only thing somebody was sitting there saying was that the best way to potentially get all your money, your winnings, would be to take what you won, invest it, and in your investment, like, like when you invest money, it's a difference between investing $10 and investing $100. Like, you going, if assumingly the stock grows and you get a return, you're gonna get a larger return on $100, of course, more than $10. So like, if you got millions, if you got 2 million, that, I think that works even with like if you betting on whatever. You place $1 million bet, you should be getting more than 1 million back. So like, that was the only way that people were saying, like, with the whole John, like, well, if you win, invest it, and then that's the only way you'll be able to get all this stuff back. A tax attorney. Play the system, mind plan, fair share. And the left and the right are the same problems. Yeah, it's just dressed differently. It's just dressed differently. So that's why it's the other one. Well, if you think that whatever, this one says this and this one says that, it don't matter. They just whatever. It's a gamble. Any great reward has a great risk. risk. Any great reward has a great risk associated with it. So it's one of them type of things. It's one of them type of things, man. So when and how do we get back to a time of peace? I think that's the other part of what's we call it. There is unrest. If not for nothing, right? There's either it's felt or you kind of sort of know there is like unrest, civil unrest everywhere, like in a lot of different places. And so it's the Hadouken. It's like, nah. But it's something like, it's one of them, like, something happens and then, like, getting back. Right now, you wouldn't say, are we just at peace? Are we at this time of peace? But a time of peace usually follows after a period of war. So it's just one of them. Nah. Yeah, no. I appreciate you for being a facilitator and contributor to an intellectual conversation. Hopefully we can get used to this. Hopefully we can get used to it, but this is why I definitely have to appreciate when they do happen and they do come around. Yeah, let me see. It's at 2:20 on the timer. That's 3. Oh, hitting on 4 hours. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. There was a teacher, and the teacher says, type poop. And so the kids would go home and said it to the parents, and the parents was getting mad because the kid was coming home saying type poop. And but I mean, is it age appropriate? Would you be okay with that? Type shit. The government causes infighting because we the people divided we fall purposely made the fight. Yeah. 3 a.m. over here. West Coast shit. So yeah. Now again, those are like, that's what I'm saying. Like, those are the whatchamacallit, like, with the amount of division among the people for whatever reason. The powers in the unity, powers in numbers, you ain't gonna never have it for whatever reason. There's too much divisiveness on many different areas and grounds for whatever. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what it is. So it was that, and which it's again. I'm trying to phrase this in such a way of, like, perspective wise, as a leader, right? That's I don't want to say it in such a way, but it's like, it's smart. Like, it's one of those things where, like, in a historical context, years from now, like, currently, we would say that, oh, he's unintelligent, he's not smart, he doesn't just that third, blah, 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 blah. In a historical context, later, who gets to write the story, right? The victor and the winner. But and what's thing that people can say though? They can say, that was actually kind of smart, having this much divisiveness instilled in the country in such a way that they couldn't move. They didn't know what to do. And even if they knew what to do, they couldn't come together enough to take the appropriate action to prevent, to stop, to change course of action, direction, any of that. This is why it becomes like, this is why you had this conversation, right? This is why you had a conversation. For what you just said, with the whole divisiveness, right? Divided we fall. United we conquer, divided we fall. However, is one of those, as a people, even if somebody had the right plan, the right course of action, this and the third, you can't get enough people to agree. Not only that, to take action. 20% do this, 80% do this. And so is like I just said, I like how it said it was, even if you can't get enough people to follow suit on one accord. It's like a guitar. It's too many chords. Guitar ain't even got that many. Violin. Writing it, for sure. Definitely making it. We are. Um, you know, so that's why I'm sitting here saying, in a historical context. Now, again, this is again. I'm trying to phrase this in a more objective way, but it's why some people will study Hitler. Is why some people will study Napoleon. It's because like they were able to mobilize a country to gain an advantage, to do certain things, to get whatever goal, objectives accomplished. They're looked at in a different regard. They're looked at in a different regard because of what they were able to accomplish. And whether you take it as good or bad, that's not the objective. Saying is, okay, they were still able to make these moves and get this to happen, change the direction and course of history. Like, you know how many presidents you can name? And just in general, how many presidents do you think people can name? And so, with that being said, you know how they talk about the greatest to do this and that and this and the third? Like, when it comes down to like the course of history over time, like certain people will be mentioned for good or bad reasons. For good or bad reasons. They have already made parallels to they have already made parallels to a lot of this is one of the reasons having this conversation, but the rise of and how do you get there, they have already made those parallels. And it's one of those where you have not or have not read. I think the book is Mein Kampf, or there's just certain things to look at when you look at again, because the questions now is, well, how did you get here and go here and this happened? And it's one of the, when you look at how other ones, how did they get here? What happened prior to? It was oh, this how this happened, this how we got here, and this how that. That's what happened. That's some of those elements are present now. Some of those elements are present now. If the word dictator isn't being used or fascist, it is authoritarianism. I might need to say that one again. Authoritarianism. Respect my authority. But yeah, authoritarianism has been one of the words that I've seen an increase in usage of to describe the leadership style that's currently taking place. Because one of the things is like, it was like, oh, you got a government, checks and balances, this and the third. Like, so again, the leadership style and how things are, but again, it's parallel similarities. So it's like certain things aren't participating, but of getting to certain levels, of getting to certain levels, how do you get there? Why did this happen? And this and the third. I guess the best scenario, I don't know what the best scenario is. It's just literally, how do we get to, how do you get back to a point of peace and not unscathed, out of harm's way, for the most part. Right? The last one was, now again, you would either have to know someone But the early 2000s, whatever was what we had going on over there, uh, whatever we had going on over here. Okay. Are you gonna also put in dictator? Because both of those were present at the same time. I just know Mussolini was a fascist. What's the difference between a fascist and a dictator? I just don't know. They just kind of grouped them together. And then Mao Zedong, Kim Jong Il, Kim Il Sung, Genghis Khan. Nah, but I'm saying those. But me saying that makes me think about like, you know, and like so. This is one of those I don't even know, but you just know it did kind of sort of like the whole North Korea and South Korea and Vietnam. Like, why did we have? I don't know what we were doing in Vietnam. That's just me speaking freely, right? And just like, well, I actually don't know why. That like, when you take a history class pretty much goes up until when I was coming up. History class went up until Cold War, but by then, Cold War and everything up until Bush and all that stuff, all that stuff is end of the year. But we also got a review for everything else happened for the rest of the year. So I don't know what the fuck Vietnam was about. That was a whole ass war. Fuck we was over there for. But I was saying that to say, I said Kim Jong Il and Kim Il Sung, like Vietnam and anything that's going over there, like the shit be seeming calm, but then you don't be knowing for real. Like, what do you know from what's going over there right now? What do they have? I don't think that they have. It ain't no democracy. I don't think it's no democracy over there. I still don't think it's a democracy over there. Like currently. Not only that, I think I don't. Is his name John right now? What's his name right now? Basically. I'm not gonna say you would be scared of him, but low key you would kind of be scared of him right now. You don't look at him the current. I don't even know what it's called. I don't think they got the democracy for one, and two. His reputation ain't on some. Yeah, you can negotiate with this person. I would be scared to meet that like you took like person you would be scared to meet. I don't know. This stuff I be thinking about, bro. I just I don't I don't think you would want to meet that person, right? I think you would be scared to meet who's ever running Korea. North Korea. We gotta stop that. I'm trying to stop. I don't I'm trying to think of his name. Is he a Kim? A Kim? I don't know his name right now. It's something. It's not. Oh, okay. Because that was like Kim Jong Il, and Kim Il Sung are two different. Kim, it's another one. Now, Kim Jong Il and Kim Jong Il and Kim Il Sung. Those are two legendary, like, for whatever reason, I looked this up recently. It was like who were the greatest or the most powerful or whatever. Oh, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. One on top of vibes. Kim Jong Un. Yeah, that ain't nobody that you could kind of sort of want to negotiate with. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what's going on over there if it at all. So, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know what's going on over there, anything at all. So like when things get to do and don't happen and this and the third. So this is why all the whole What are we in? This is, oh, another little aside. I think Call of Duty. I forget which one. One of these Call of Duties actually starts in 2026. And I think it pretty much, I think it might have something to do with Venezuela and whatnot. I forget which Call of Duty it is. And so, predictive programming also came up. Either whether it's in shows or movies. And that conversation did pop up. Call of Duty. And I think there was another Call of Duty that did mention Ukraine. But I'm not sure about that. That did just pop up in the whatchamacallit. So the other funny one was it was a little bit off, I think, but the fact that it even could be misinterpreted was the Hunger Games, and the Hunger Games were set, and it depends on how you interpret it. But I think I'm not sure based off the movie or the book or whatever, Hunger Games, some people could have interpreted for 2026 as well. Call of Duty had the war set in 2026, but Hunger Games, and it was the fact that this year or whatever, it was the Patriot Games, and each state was supposed to send some of their best student athletes to compete. May the odds forever be in your favor. Oh, actually, when I looked that up, may the odds be forever in your favor. Or may the odds, she doesn't say forever. She says ever, I think. May the odds ever be in your favor. But I be saying forever. I don't know why. When I say it, it'd be, it's the, what, movie title, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Black people, play the Freddy Krueger movie. Put Freddy on. Thank goodness the other one called Chucky, bro. I think he called Chucky. Good guy. What's another one that would just be like, play this. I think it was what's her name? She sing that love. Keisha Cole. Keisha Cole got that song, and it's called Heaven Sent. Black people, play Sent from Heaven. Sent from Heaven. Yeah. Yeah, no, this was great. I'm hungry again, but this was great. Ouch. My chest. Well, I think we touched on all bases and covers and whatnot, so I don't know. I definitely want to leave this one open and see what other people say and think about everything that was going on, man. Yeah. I appreciate you all.